This episode is brought to you by Draggin Bags. They make us better throwers, so why don't you just join us in throwing the best bags on the market? Head over to dragginbags.com, and guess what? Our code is live again. Drop code Big Asp 12 at checkout to save yourself 12%.
Wow.
That's 2% more than most people get, so take advantage, folks. Head over to dragginbags.com and pick up your heat today. We're telling you, Power Dragons, Power Dragon L's, Dirty Dragon L's, Dirty Dragons, all the goods are for the getting.
The Charlies?
I mean, they're not out yet.
Oh my God.
But just be ready, folks.
Yes, October.
Yeah, October is coming soon, and you'll be wanting to get your hands on Charlies. So head over to dragginbags.com and pick yourself up some beautiful bags today. Drop code Big Asp 12 at checkout.
Welcome to the Big Ass Cornhole Show with Sean and Dane. Get ready to throw. What you drinking? Fun random shit. Dramatic readings, you'll love every bit. Big Ass Cornhole, tune in now with Sean and Dane. They'll show you how. Weekly guests and laughs, cornhole fame. Cornhole it, join the game. Interviews and random quests. Cornhole champs and all the best. We hope you throw it straight and have no doubt. It's four baggers from here on out. Big Ass Cornhole, tune in now. With Sean and Dane, they'll show you how. Oh, weekly guests and laughs. Cornhole fame. Cornhole it. Join the game. Join the game.
All right, welcome back to the Big Ass Cornhole Podcast. Sean and Dane are with you as always. What's going on, man?
Not too much. You know, I almost hit the old intro.
I know. I was waiting. I'm like, are you gonna press?
I'm like,
it
you know
or
what?
not,
It's
or-
only Monday, so I can either drum up a new one or just use an oldie tomorrow and plug it in there.
Fair enough.
All right.
Fair enough. The contest is going to be hopefully rolling out this
Yes,
week.
I'll get you all the files and
Okay.
just post them up.
Okay. Well, before we get into this fun episode, Dane, do what you do best every single week. Let the folks know what we're sipping on tonight in our favorite segment called "What You Drinking."
What you drinking?
Well, our father was very nice.
Yes,
he was in Cape Cod and went to a lovely brewery by the name of Devil's Purse Brewing Company in South Dennis.
South Dennis.
And so we're just going to bring you 3 beers today because we have 3 beers to try.
Yeah.
Kicking us off is the Stonehouse Citra IPA.
Stone Horse.
Stone Horse, I'm sorry. Can't read, apparently.
It's okay.
So 100% Citra hops, 6% alcohol.
It's delightful.
It's a very good one. Yeah, I had the other one that we're going to review later. Like them both. So, spoiler alert, they're both really good. So, I mean, if you're ever out in Mass and want to go check out Devil's Purse Brewing, it's a really good
They're off to a good
brewery.
start.
Very fast start.
Very
and
drinkable.
yeah, gotta love a pounder can too.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, why do we even have 12 ounces anymore? Just stick with the pint.
I want to live in that world.
Right? Just, I mean, this is Big Asp. All right.
Yes.
We don't do small beers.
Yeah, that might just be a shirt.
There we go.
Wow. Wow. All right. Well, folks, we have more audio gold planned for you all this week. It's the off season.
Yes, it is.
There are partnerships being announced daily. We're going to go over kind of a comprehensive list of ones that have been announced, ones that probably should have already been announced because we're going to announce it today. And yeah, we got dramatic readings. And then we're going to be joined by Athena Delgado and Ashlea Scola.
I like it.
It's going to be an awesome interview.
Sounds
I'm
like a
super
fun
excited.
episode, Sean.
It sure does.
I'm
Dane.
looking forward to it.
Wow. Well, before we get to all that, we're going to let you know what's going on in our cornhole lives in a segment we call In and Around the Hole.
Are you too good for your home? Answer me!
Okay, let's just get this out of the way. The Browns suck. I
Yes.
fucking hate them.
That's welcome
This is a
back.
terrible
See,
franchise.
I'm sorry. I was not.
We're set back 4 or 5 years now, and every bit of momentum we had built up is
All right,
gone.
Just calm your cheeks, Sean.
All right.
Because I don't know why you were so on your high horse. This is the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, I
You
know.
haven't learned by now. I think this is one of the first times that
It's true.
I did not believe the hype train at all going into this season. Because, one, I knew that, yes, we made the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
We did it a la like the 99 Tampa Bay Buccaneers where it was just all defense and your offense was mediocre at best. We found a way to do it. It's not the way the NFL is going nowadays. You need to have offense to be able to score against these great defenses. So
yeah,
I just wasn't. Without Chubb, we're an entirely different team. I don't care what anyone says.
Oh, for sure. I just wanted to throw it out there because I know it's going to be brought up later. And
I just don't. I don't know. I don't give a shit. Like
I'm
football's back, baby.
Let's just go ahead and make fun of him now because it's just, and plus we never win home openers.
Yeah.
Like it's a rare thing. I think it's like 2 in the 25 years they've been back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not a great opening day record.
But on the flip side, I'm done being a Notre Dame fan,
dude.
I am done.
Bad.
I know there are several out there with me. Like
bad.
Come on.
Bad.
God damn.
Now
man.
I give props to Northern Illinois because like this isn't like their first upset. Like as a program, they're a very solid program, like in their conference and stuff. But
this is a team for Notre Dame that they're expecting to do some great things. Now again, much like the Browns, I wasn't expecting a national championship, but I was like, hey, with this playoff, anything can happen now in college football. And no.
I didn't think they looked great the first week, but I'm like, first game of the year against a ranked opponent.
Yeah.
Like you give them and they win and they pull off the win. All right, like that's what a good program is supposed to do. And then you just lay an egg, man. Like it was bad. It was tough to watch.
Yeah. So,
Ohio State's rolling.
Ohio State's rolling.
I mean, as advertised. I mean, you know what there's going to be. You know what I mean? It's going to be probably there's probably 6 teams that could really compete for like a national championship, and there'll be one of
them's not Michigan. So that's awesome. I like that.
It is weird with the playoffs expanding now. So like one win doesn't mean necessarily you're out. It just means that you're going to have a tougher road, but like you're still going to be
for strength of schedule. I think you could still potentially make it with 2 losses.
Okay. All right.
So I mean, we'll see. But
Texas
cornhole wise, I went to
Texas looks nasty.
Texas is nasty.
I'll give a shout out.
Phenomenal, but I'm just waiting for maybe one little injury and then
or they all
Manning
again.
And
Texas tends to lose that one big game every year.
I know they do.
Can they run? I mean, they're good.
I want to see Manning in the game. Like, let's get more of him.
Anyways, cornhole.
But anyways, cornhole wise, I didn't necessarily play.
Okay.
I just went to Cito Soto's Cancer Sucks fundraiser.
Yeah.
And honestly, just to see everyone. I hadn't seen everyone out there, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to get the full day to go out there. I mean, it's like a whole big shabil, and I don't know. I just couldn't find the time to be out there for the whole thing, but got out there around right around 3, hung out, saw everyone like in Cleveland Cornhole. Like, love seeing all those folks out there, and they raised a shit ton of money.
They do a great job with that every year. They really do.
Yeah, I think it was like 3,000 or 4,000 that they ended up raising.
And I know Cito puts a lot of work into that. So
he does.
Shout out to Cito. It's a great cause. So
yeah, and he always reaches out to me to like help him out with grills and stuff. So I never hesitate because I know it goes to a good cause. So I was very happy to go out there and see everyone. And for the record, I mean, Cito's clam chowder, god damn, dude, like, I'm sorry, it's
New England.
It is New England clam chowder, and
really?
It is bomb, dude.
Okay, because we are,
believe me, Sean,
no stranger to.
Yes, and I give him his clout. Like,
really? Okay,
it is.
What do you think makes it different,
dude? It's just a solid clam chowder. Like, if you're in the Cape Cod, like if you're in Cape Cod at a restaurant and you get that cup of clam chowder, like, this is the equivalent to what you're getting out there.
Okay. Oh wow.
It's like, it's good, but he also uses the fresh clams.
Okay.
Which we know they use out there, which makes a huge difference too. So,
it does.
All in all, just phenomenal stuff. Love the food. Cito, congrats on another successful tournament. It ran great. Everyone was happy. People were fat, sassy, and drunk. What else can you ask for? It's a perfect tournament.
I'm full on like minivan dad now. Like, I'm not driving a minivan, but like, Saturday mornings are spent at watching my daughter do cheerleading for flag football, which is always great. So, besides that, nothing. Just watching the Browns game and just ruining my mood.
Did you get out and golf at all?
Dude, I have not been out to golf in probably 2 or 3 weeks now. Yeah, I'm getting the bug.
Let's hit the range this week.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I need to.
They have the lights on still at
again, because the last time I played, I was like playing well.
Yeah,
but then I take these like months off,
and then
keep
like just swinging,
and that's all it is. Like
I'll
go chip around. Like, I finally figured out like the chipping stuff, but
that's what I need to work the most on. But I did go out golfing. Surprise, surprise. And Yeah, I'm just liking where my game's at. Like it's I don't know, my stock drive right now seems to be right around like 275, which I'm very happy with, and just putting it in good spots and starting to really lock in on that like 100 in.
Yeah.
Which is nice because I used to be. It's not that I was bad at it. I could never get close.
Yeah.
Like I was good at hitting the green, but
it's an intimidating shot.
it is
Like when you start golfing somewhat well,
because
right?
you feel like you have to hit it close.
Yes.
But now I'm just learning like the distances a little better, and I've hit a 60 a lot more than I would have ever done.
Because I haven't played much, I tend to try to avoid that distance.
Yeah,
I want 100
you want a full club.
Yeah, if I can leave it 120, I'd rather give me a full pitching wedge in rather than, you know what I mean, like 80 yards where I'm taking a 3/4 or something. You know what I mean? It's a touchy shot, and I always tend to shank that. I think about it too much and all the fun stuff.
I mean, long story short, I think I'm shoring up well for our fun weekend coming up. So
yeah.
we're gonna
I think so.
We're gonna do fun things. So I don't know. Like let's golf. Let's get out. We
Sure.
Gotta get one more in.
For sure. All right. So a bunch has been happening in the ACL. They already made the announcements, obviously, on the policy changes, and that's going to be a big portion of the interview. So we're not going to get into that, but we're going to get into kind of the meat of everything. I think the big announcement. So by the time you're listening to this is Wednesday, Monday, I want to say afternoon or something. Yeah. They made the announcement on the ACL around the.
Is it around the hole?
No, it's around the ACL, right? Yeah, it's around the ACL. The podcast there. They did the Jamie Graham reveal. So Jamie Graham,
Never heard of her.
if you follow on Patreon, you already knew all this stuff. So Jamie Graham is partnering with Jacob Trzynski. They're going with AAR, which is a little surprising to me, only because I had thought that Graham had signed a 2-year deal with All Cornhole. Maybe that wasn't the case. Maybe it was just a 1 year, obviously.
Yeah.
So he's going with all AAR. Do you like Jacob Trzynski as a free agent pickup?
I mean, for Jamie?
Yeah. Do you like this team?
I do. I do a lot. Yeah. I think they can. I think Jamie will have a little more fire on the boards again.
Yeah.
Like, I think you'll see him kind of a little more passion with it, like kind of matching Jacob's energy. Because I always kind of felt like Jamie was more of that kind of guy on the main stage, like a little fire to him. And
they're two ultra competitors.
They are. And that's what I really like about them.
I would be interested to know, do they have a relationship at all off the boards? Because, like, listen, I don't care what you say. It does mean something that you like your partner.
I mean, but Jacob's already done it both ways. So he was with his buddy Tony, got dropped like a bad habit, goes like the business side with Tanner.
Yeah.
Success both ways. So I don't think it matters to him. I think if he has a competitor across from him, then he's happy.
I agree. I mean, I'm happy to see this for him because he earned this, right? Like, if he would have fallen off and just been like an above average player, because again, he's way too talented to be a bad player. Let's say he just didn't have the year he had this year, and no one's going to blame him.
No.
I mean, like a rebound year after, this awesome season you had in doubles with Tony Smith. What does he do? He goes out and wins a fucking national against his former partner.
Yep.
Like, that's like G shit.
It is G
like
shit.
That is fucking, that's might be my favorite reel I've ever done. Is the one where I clipped where
I
he's
want
like,
that.
Yeah, he's like, buddy, you want that? No, I want that. And then he clipped that is just, I got goosebumps watching that live because I knew the moment that I was going to go back and cut.
Yep.
And instantly I called you. I'm like, I need the fucking video like now. Like, I need it
yesterday.
Up, yesterday. Like, I need
we
it
just
up
recorded
right now.
it.
He just won. Like, we need to drop this like instantly. So you're on top of your shit. So I appreciate that.
No problem.
But I do like this team. I haven't had a chance to really sit back and look at like the whole landscape of all the partners and like come up with power rankings.
Yeah.
I think that'll be kind of like the next step
we don't have to do any of that until the season's about to officially kick off.
No.
So and I'm not talking about the opens and stuff. We're talking about the goods.
I think right now, though, instantly they would have top 5 consideration.
1,000%. Yeah.
I mean, without a doubt.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's hard for Jacob to find a partner that's better than Tanner in the field. Somehow he did.
Yeah, correct.
And no shot at Tanner. It's just Jamie Graham.
It's a win-win for both guys because, again, not taking a shot at anyone, both players upgraded their partner.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Jacobs gets to throw the same bags he was just throwing last year. Advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jamie can throw fucking whatever. I mean, I love Jason McCann and all, but like he was winning with fire bags.
like OG fire bags.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so, like, we're good. And he was also throwing last year, like, the All Slide 2.0, which, like, nobody throws for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, all cornhole, it's been a flop after a flop, like, coming out with bags.
Yeah.
If you love the Game Changer, by all means, go. And I'm actually kind of surprised there aren't more people that throw them. I am
too. Because
guess what? Like, whether you want to admit it or not, if you've been around the game for 3 or 4 years, you had a set of Game Changers.
Yep.
And secretly, deep down in your soul, you said you hated them, but like there's a little bit of it. You're like, I want to be good with these.
Goddamn, like
right?
Just,
like we all had that moment.
So easy.
Yeah, you all play that fucking either 87-year-old guy or morbidly obese guy that you had to pick up his bags.
Yeah,
and they smoked your ass throwing Game Changer slick side down, and you're like, God damn it, why am I even trying to throw something else? Like no one's ever going to be able to beat this.
It's very true, man. I mean, I still see it today.
All right, next team. This was announced, I think, on Sunday. I like it. It's not like huge names, but I think the potential of this team, there's a lot of sneaky upside with this team. You have Frazier, and Rozier, 2 very talented players who have had flashes previously. Rozier really hasn't done a whole lot since he's been on the pro circuit, but he's crazy talented. And he was really successful on the college level. He's kind of one of those dark horses. Like, I think he, right now, going into this next season, would be a candidate for me to be like a breakout player of the year.
Yeah.
I really like this partnership. I know it's not like flashy, but they're both really good players.
Yes, they are. I mean, could we give them like a team name already? Like Team Frat Boy?
Yeah, I mean,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that like fits them perfectly. And
Team Dark Shades.
Yeah, I hope they bring that energy all the time.
I think that if you're going to partner like that, Frazier has to grow. He has to bust out the mustache.
I think he's got to get a
you
stash.
have to.
Yeah, if you guys both
if
rock
you're
the
gonna
shades
do
and
this,
stash,
if you're gonna do it, go
embrace the
100%. Jeremy, if you're listening to this, man, grow a mustache. I don't care if it's the trashiest looking thing in the world. You'll have my respect,
or
and that'll mean something, man.
Grow what you can,
dude,
and then
right?
you both like if you just get a little soul patch or something, like just
own
own it. Yeah,
just own it.
Just
yes,
own
correct.
it. And you guys have an image right off the rip that I think is super marketable because they're like very personable guys too. So
Blaine might have one of the most popular, like he's one of the most followed like cornhole players
for sure,
like Instagram, TikTok, like he kills it.
Yeah,
and he's just low key, just videos of him thrown by
everyone
some pool.
Wants, everyone wants
he's
a
really
mustache
fucking
ride.
good. Yeah, listen,
like,
I mean, he's very marketable. So like, I think it would be in the ACL's interest for him to really show up, and I do think this team has a lot of potential. I'm not saying that they're top 10 right off the bat, but if they finish the year at like 8, I'm not going to look at it and be like, oh shit.
I mean, if they go in and win a national like with stashes on the main stage, I might become a stash boy myself. It might convert.
Are you? Would you put that on record right now?
I'll put it on record.
If they win, wait, they both have to be rocking a mustache.
If they're like the stash boys, then
okay.
I will. If they win a national, I'll become stash boy.
For how long? A month? Will you let it go for a month?
Yeah.
All right, that's fair.
You know, I grow a mean mustache, so like it's really not an issue for me. Like, it's like it's there.
Have you ever been tempted just to do it, just to see the reaction?
I look like Uncle Brian.
Oh, Bruce.
Yeah, Brian.
Oh, yeah, they're twins.
Yeah.
So I guess okay. Fair.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of potential with that team. Do like that. This is when it starts to get interesting. It hasn't been announced publicly, so like I can't confirm it 100%. But I've heard, and I'm just kind of piecing together certain aspects. I thought when I heard that Jay Rubin was coming back,
you thought him and Jordan Power were linking powers again.
At first, but then I heard that Rubin was going all cornhole.
Yeah.
From a pretty reliable source. And then I heard it from multiple people, right? It's not like just one thing where I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. I thought when I heard all cornhole immediately, I was thinking Cheyenne Bubenheim. Yeah. Makes sense, right? Like she's the darling of all cornhole. She's been either there or ultra her whole career. Most of the time with all cornhole, she's been immensely popular.
She's the face
they
of
have the commercial.
Their commercial, yeah.
I mean, it just made sense to me. But then I see Titan Bags makes a cryptic post saying like Team Titan Bags we're good to go. Basically, I think letting everyone else know like we're closed up. We're not sponsoring anyone else. We got our dudes.
Yeah.
Titan Bags let go of players like Nico Morales, who's been a Titan Bag dude from before they were like really Titan Bags.
Yeah.
And he was a very solid player. He was like a team Titan Bags guy. And they let somebody like that go. Mm-hmm. So to me, that means that like Titan Bags is like some of the other companies that we're hearing. They're going with a few super teams. So you figure they're already going to keep Hissner, Birchfield. I mean, I guess they have to at this point.
I guess if you must.
I think after last season, you got to keep Bernadette and Lopez Jr.
For sure.
I mean, you have
Steady
to. Right?
Eddies. Yeah.
You have to. And then it just, do you remember who do we keep seeing in the Titan tent all weekend at Spencer's? Every time we looked over there, who was sitting under there hanging out? Jordan Power. He's a Titan dude. And I remember walking out the very last night, me and Brandon Graba were talking, former sponsor of the show. We're talking little business. And he made a comment to me about like, he's like, I'm a loyalty guy. Like I'm a family guy. He's like, I like guys that are like going to ride or die with me. And then like that struck a chord. And like, so I started thinking Titan Bags posted like a picture of like girl power.
Yeah.
Why would they post that unless they're signing a big name female? And who else, honestly, is worthy of that kind of picture other than Cheyenne Bubenheim? So I think what's going to happen is I think we're going to see Cheyenne Bubenheim throwing Titan Bags with Jordan Power. I really do.
Which is a very interesting pairing.
It is, but again, it makes sense. Like they throw the same style of game.
Similar, yeah.
They really do.
Yeah, and I mean, again, Cheyenne used to be a little more fiery on the boards. Like I think Jordan could wake something up in her that kind of brings a little fire out.
But again, I think that there's a yin and yang that we talked about actually with Quinn.
It's true.
Right? How you see it like where you can have one fiery guy, one laid back, and the balance. You have one guy that's going to run bags, one guy that's going to dirty, and you're going to like have some sort of a balance like that. I think that personality wise, like that, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. No,
So,
I can see it.
Again, I don't know. I haven't confirmed this 1,000%, but like everything I'm hearing is that if that's the case, do you like the team?
I do ish.
Okay.
I just feel like Cheyenne just needs to find someone that she's comfortable with and stick with them for a couple seasons.
Yeah.
Because she's been jumping around quite a bit. So I think it's due time that she finds like a solidified.
I was a little surprised
partner.
she wasn't going to throw with Frank after
Honestly,
I heard Jamie was leaving.
I was too. Because like, I mean, Frank speaks so highly of Cheyenne that
now, again, if this is all ifs, if she leaves, how much money did Titan Bags have to throw at her to get her to leave All Cornhole? That All Cornhole wasn't willing to match.
There's an argument to be made that she's one of the top pros to pay to get under your radar because she's always making broadcasts.
Oh, for sure. No, I'm not arguing it at all. I'm not saying she's not worth it.
I'm sure I mean, there's reasons why they had to cut guys like Nico.
Yeah, exactly. That's my whole point is that they were loading up for someone else big.
For sure.
And then they put that girl post out. It just everything's kind of making sense. And it makes even more sense when I heard the other rumor going around is that Jay Rubin going with All Cornhole.
Yeah.
I heard his new partner. And again, it's going to have to be someone fucking good for Jay Rubin to come back. Because if he's going to come back, he needs to be partnered with someone that he thinks that he can truly win with. He told us before on the show when we did the draft, if he comes back full time, he's doing this full time as a job, as a career. So he's going to take this very seriously, and he's not going to come back unless he gets a partner.
Which is like a Jay Rubin that have we seen yet? I feel like he's always had another job or something.
Yeah,
like,
correct.
Or, life going
I think a very focused Jay Rubin's a very scary thing.
For sure.
So when I first heard him All Cornhole, I'm like, all right, maybe Frank was able to convince him, come back, throw with me. I lost Jamie Graham, and then, all the world is good.
Yeah.
But was that enough? And then I heard that Rubin's going to be throwing with Ryan Trader at All Cornhole.
Which is just, it's a funky pairing. It really is in my mind.
My first thing, I don't worry about Rubin so much, only because he could kind of throw whatever, right? And he has. Like, he's an OG. He's thrown everything from fucking slide rights to Viper. You know what I mean? Like, guy can throw whatever. I don't know what bag fits well for a Trader. And again, he's so good, he could probably throw whatever too. It makes me think that maybe All Cornhole has something in the works that they're going to be dropping soon.
When they have to. I mean, I would almost just be like, Ryan, give me your favorite bag. And let me just recreate this.
Like, are we going to see like the Fly Magic? Like,
pretty much
like an All Cornhole bag.
That's what I'm assuming we'll see.
And that's kind of what I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
Is All Cornhole's like, listen, all the slick side stuff is we already have the game changer. We need a banger slow. Like, all right, if they're going to be throwing this, like, this is what we're going to go with. So, or, I mean, because they have some sort of like a hybrid carpet bag, but like, I think Cheyenne was like the only one throwing that last year. primarily.
I think you're right. Yeah.
So I don't know. Again, it's all rumors. I haven't confirmed it 1,000%, but it's not rumors and it's true, I think. So again,
It's all off the record, but it might be on the record.
I also struggle with dropping some of the stuff because I'm not trying to rain on anyone's parade, but I'm so sick and tired of like it getting out anyways.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've been sitting on this for 2 fucking weeks.
Yeah.
Why am I being nice?
We find out about
I'm
it.
not.
Who gives a
I reached
shit?
out to all these people, by the way, to be like, hey, you want to come off the release? Oh no, we're going in the ACL pod. Guess what? If you guys would have come on our show, you would be on right now, and I wouldn't have to spoil it for you guys.
Yeah, but hey, here we are.
But it is what it is.
You can wait
So,
for that one though. That's fine.
It's fine. If a couple hundred people hear it. So all right. So another interesting team that I'm hearing about. Baby Goat, right? Ryan Trader's partner.
Yeah.
He's homeless.
I mean,
Wandering afield
I
somewhere.
think his parents are still taking care of him, but I get
we
what you're
heard
saying.
last week, if you listen to the episode, you should, because it was a fucking banger. Anyways, Eddie Grindersleeve was going to be throwing with Turpin.
Yeah.
That was the rumor. It's not a rumor, it's true. So both you got 2 free agents floating around.
Yeah.
Baby Goat and KB. What do you think?
Baby Goat and
Think
Baby
it's-
Face.
Do you think it's a possibility?
I do, yeah.
I think it makes sense. It's like a BG brand.
For sure.
I'm assuming BG is going to keep both those players.
Yeah, and I think they can.
They've been under your umbrella. Like KB had a down year, but if we all know how good he could be, I think it would be dumb for them to
If
like
he's willing
not
to
bring
step
them
back and like, I'm sure he knows the last season wasn't up to snuff.
Yeah,
He was enjoying life.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
he just had a phenomenal season the year
Yeah.
before. Maybe he refocuses and him and Baby Goat can.
and shuffling up teams
find
sometimes
something.
every once in a while is not it's not the worst thing in the
No,
world.
not
You
at
can
all.
always go back to it
can
the
get
next
stale
year. Yeah.
sometimes.
So I think that they would be a very interesting team. Again, they're not cracking my top 10 or anything. I would want to see which KB we're getting.
Yeah,
And then Baby Goat just has to get the yips over on the broadcast.
for sure.
Besides that, very, very solid team. This team was announced a few days ago. Roybal and Hart,
Yeah, I mean,
2 ultra guys.
ultra guys that they kind of got dumped, so makes sense. I think
mean-
they're both killers.
Well, we don't know if, maybe they dumped their significant others.
They could have.
They could have.
I think it might have gone the other way, though.
Well, we're going to find out next week.
Fair enough.
Jeremiah Ellis is going to join us on the show
Yeah.
next week. So you'll find out. He's going to do his partner reveal.
But
So-
yeah, I mean, I do like the pairing. I think Hart's kind of underrated.
I was a little surprised
Yeah,
because I
'cause-
know how close Ellis and Hart have become. But to me, that just shows that like, hey, they're really our friends, and they're like, listen, we can stop. This is business side. Like, we're still going to be boys. Go through. I don't care. It's like we're still going to be at the same events.
Yes.
We're still going to see each other. We're just not going to be standing across from each other throwing a bag back and forth.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
mean, and Roybal, like maybe he just wants to throw the same bag.
And honestly, Roybal, like, he's really good partner for Hart. Like, they play a
Yes.
very similar game. Like, I
Mhm.
think they're going to be a very good team. Like, this is not like some like a consolation prize. Like,
People
they're going to be a
forget that
really
Roybal
and
is
we're top
basically
25.
Yeah,
Gina and Roybal were top 25
yeah,
doubles.
and
right?
people
Yeah.
forget too that Roybal basically is like a first year player after having to completely change his throw.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's baffling when you see footage of him prior to what he's.
You don't
throwing
get on
now.
the rookie of the year ballot unless
You put some sauce on it.
Correct.
He put some sauce on
He
it.
did.
So I mean, I do like that pairing of him and Hart. Like I think it's a sneaky good one. Like definitely top 15 potential.
we got Shibby and Landis.
Love
They
to see
announced-
it.
They have not announced a bag sponsorship yet.
Okay,
Does
but
that surprise you?
I mean a little bit. But I mean, again, some of these bag companies are just
Okay,
reevaluating
so, like,
things.
you're a big bag company, and you
Yeah.
were like, we want to get super teams. Would they not be considered like one of the even in under your radar, like guys that maybe we should approach to bring in because they won a fucking national?
Yeah, but
I mean,
a
they're
lot
really
of
good.
a lot of people might have just thought, like, hey, their heart lies with Siva. We're just gonna like step off the gas, and if they weren't expecting it, they might not have reached out to other bag companies. yet.
I was surprised that they hadn't announced it.
Yeah.
When they announced their partnership, I was surprised that like
They will get scooped up by somebody because yes, they
Yeah.
are a great team.
we got. I heard a rumor that Frank Modlin did finally land his partner.
Yeah,
I heard it might be Damon Dennis.
just getting them out of the retirement home for
I
one
mean,
more season.
I mean, listen, Damon Dennis throwing a
I'm
game
just
changer.
kidding. I'm
Yeah.
fine with it.
Yeah,
I think it's actually a really good pairing.
Yeah, I think
And
it's going to be a
you
lot
know
of
that
fun to watch.
They've definitely played together in the past. They've had to have.
They're going to set a new record for slowest game pace, probably.
But I mean, there is a shot clock.
There is. Thank
So,
God.
Yes. So we won't have any 45-minute, 20-round games.
Correct. Just announced tonight while we were on the show, actually, was Jeremy Schermerhorn and Joe Niestedt are teaming back up. You reunited.
Reunited, and it feels so good.
I like it.
I do too.
Both guys are just happier when they throw together.
They found lightning in a bottle together, and yes, you were the thunderstorm over their parade the whole time that they were successful. Being like, is it sustainable because they're not throwing well? Well, guess what? Their happy-go-lucky free way of throwing together fucked teams up, and it was good enough for them to get on a good run. So
I mean, psychological warfare.
Exactly. Why not get back to it? Guess what? Headphones. Can't have them on the broadcast anymore, so if you can make it there, easy way to mess people up.
Yep. And I'm also hearing a very interesting one. This one I haven't confirmed a whole lot. I'm just hearing whispers.
Is Dwayne coming out of retirement?
It's not.
All right.
That the kitty cat lady is retaining Ethan Walker.
Okay.
Ethan Walker is one of the biggest free agents available.
For sure.
I was thinking at first Jay Rubin.
Yeah, I mean, I could have seen that. I mean, I thought maybe possibly Jamie as well.
I mean,
right
seriously.
off the bat,
but I heard Cody Henderson's name whispered. So I'd be very interested to find out if this is going to come to fruition.
Cody Henderson.
Yeah.
Was it like that?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Like in the wind. But yeah, I'll be interested to see if that comes to fruition.
I would love to see that team come to fruition. That'd be a nice one.
For sure.
Because Cody could finally have somebody up to his snuff across the board.
They're a team that is probably an honorable mention outside of my top 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With the full ability, they could very easily win a national. We saw Cody Henderson still has his game, still won his bracket. You know what I mean? So, I mean, he still can play at a high level. And I mean, next to Adam, this is going to be the best partner he's ever had.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's a scary kind of not so sneaky team though, when you look at the name power on it.
Yep. So were you, all right. So that's kind of all the partnership stuff.
Yeah.
Were you keeping up with the saga that was Braden Easterling on Addicted to Cornhole?
I was. He was pretty adamant and loud about him not taking his pro card to the ACO.
Yeah.
And then some people didn't like it. So then he reneged.
Yeah. You want to do a dramatic reading?
Oh, about that?
Let's do it.
In a world where bean bags have brought men to their knees, social media serves as sanctuary for keyboard warriors. Time for the dramatic readings.
As always, this dramatic reading is brought to you by Big D Bags, because why not? Throw Big D Bags. We talk about them all the time. They have great hand feel, not too veiny, nice and smooth. They melt in holes. So if you want a big old D to slide right in the hole, head over to Big D Bags, drop code BIGASP10 to save $10 off at checkout, and grab your girth today over at Big D Bags.
It's very sensual this week.
Tried.
Braden Easterling. Hey all, I just wanted to speak to some of my actions, behaviors / comments in the last couple of weeks. First off, I want to apologize to anyone I may have personally affected or spoke badly of. There's no excuse or validation for anything that was said, and I'm truly sorry. My plan is to learn from my mistakes, move forward, and focus on working on myself. I love the sport of cornhole, the community, and all the people involved. Without it, I don't know what I'd do. I want to say thank you to my family and friends who continue to support my passion. I'm so grateful for you all. It's time to be a better version of myself and hope everyone comes along. Appreciate y'all. So first thing, I think it was very big of him to come out and post something as
it was an obligatory post that he had to.
Dude, I first of all, I'd be shocked if he actually wrote that himself.
Yeah.
To me, that was something straight out of the school of Rich Norman. You know what I mean? The heart, you know what I mean?
Could have been just ChatGPT. I need an apology letter for making people angry.
But again, if he truly means what he said in that post, you let it slide. People get, you know what I mean? We all have those moments where, we're on it. And that's why I've said 1,000 times, if you write something and you're like, should I post it? Write it, read
Look
it,
at it.
let it simmer for a second. And then you're probably going to be like, nah, I shouldn't do it. And then just delete it. And then you're good. You're going to feel better. I promise you.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why people still like me on social media, because I do that and I delete 99% of what I write down.
But again, it goes back to last week when I was talking about me going all in against the ACO, if we all want the game itself to get as big as we can.
For sure.
Let's just focus on getting the game and just playing, right? Having fun, getting back to it. Who gives
Drinking
a shit?
Beers, shooting the shit.
Who gives a shit what the letters are in front of it?
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
Take an L or take an O.
Want to cue that rap horn?
Do I ever?
Yeah, I knew you did. Wow.
Yeah, it's a little fast finger action for you.
Reach us at Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Big Asp Cornhole.
And the one that's left is Facebook at Big Asp Cornhole Podcast. Thanks again to our sponsors. Visit DraggingBags.com and drop code BigAsp12 at checkout to save yourself 12% on some of the best bags in the business. And Big D Bags. Go over to Big D Bags, drop code BigAsp10 at checkout to grab your girth today.
And if you are in the market of supporting poor podcasters and you like our content, head over to patreon.com/bigaspcornhole. For the price of a beer a month, you can get bonus content. You get the video version. You get to see our lovely faces on Patreon. You get exclusive Patreon bonus episodes. We are working on bringing back training videos from members of the future Team Asp. I'm also going to be dropping for Patreon members. We are going to be creating a Team Asp application. I have the application ready. We're figuring out the date we want to roll it out, but I'm going to drop the link on Patreon first. So you guys are going to first come, first serve. So we're going to have limited spots for this Team Big Asp, but pretty excited to roll it out here soon.
Heck yeah.
So be on the lookout for that. But for all of our Patreon members, we love you guys. We're going to be having a happy hour soon. Definitely. I think it might have to be next week.
Could be next week. Yeah, we can do that.
I think I have the perfect call that we're going to do the interview first and have a happy hour right after.
So Greg Williams?
No. Damn. It'll be fun.
Damn. All right.
Yeah. But that'll be a fun one.
I'm waiting for that one.
Oh yeah. So I met Greg Williams.
I know.
Former Browns head coach. Yeah. So he's at my daughter's school fundraiser, and my wife is head of fundraising.
Yeah.
And I walk in the building, I'm carrying a box, and I see this guy walk by me, and I set the box down. My wife's like, "What?" I'm like, I know it's gonna sound so weird, but I swear the guy that walked by me looked just like the Browns' old head coach. And she's like, "Greg Williams?" I'm like, yeah. And she's like, "Yeah, that's him." And I'm like, "How the fuck do you know that?" And she's like, "Oh, his daughter-in-law is head of the PTA."
Well,
she's like, "I work." I'm like, "Oh, no shit." So I shot my shot, went over and yucked it up with him and his son, who was one of the coaches, and "Hey, we have a podcast." He's like, "Oh yeah, well, come on anytime." So that's gonna be a Patreon bonus episode.
I wonder if he'll remember meeting me at Ellicottville Brewing in Chautauqua, New York.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. He was tons of story, and he almost broke my fucking hand, give me a fist bump with his Super Bowl ring on. So that was fun.
That's why you wear it.
My God. All right. So hope you guys are enjoy the interview. We're going to be joined by Athena Delgado and Ashlea Scola. I think this interview has the potential to just be awesome.
Heck yeah.
So hope you guys enjoy. And as always, we hope you throw it straight. And it's nothing but 4 baggers from here on out.
Cornhole it.
Later. You want to take it away? You wanted to do what you're drinking
first. We just want to let it rip right into it?
Yeah,
all right, I was going to let you intro, but hey.
I'll do the intro after. What you drinking?
Well, I mean, we're back at Devil's Purse.
We still are, yep.
We're reaching in a little deeper this time. We pulled out the Polak Rip. I mean, near and dear to our hearts, we're in Polish country here in Cleveland, Ohio. So,
not in it, bordering it.
We're pretty much in it, dude. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but yeah, we're in the thick of it. But Polak Rip, yeah, it's a little bitier than the last one we had.
Yeah, for sure. It's good though.
But it's also 7.5%. So the bite's worth it. You get that extra 1.5% in there, but it's bomb. Devil's Purse Brewing Company, South Dennis, Massachusetts. Go get some.
That was beautiful.
Thanks, man.
All right.
I try.
Well, folks, thanks for listening to all that. We are joined by Miss Athena Delgado and Ashlea Scola. What's going on, guys?
Hello. How is everybody?
It's good so far. It's been Mondays suck for me right now. I was telling you guys before, but it is chaotic. And are your guys' lives at this point too, where kids are just constantly doing stuff and you just have no time for yourself ever? It's fun.
Oh yeah, always.
Oh yeah. I'm seriously trying to figure out how am I going to do recording schedule. Luckily, when you have guests like yourselves that are relatively flexible for time, it definitely works out. But other than that, I feel like everything I do is rushed now at all times.
Yes.
I mean, thank God, other people are flexible because We know you're not.
Correct. Amen. Amen. So before we like get into like all the nitty gritty, like I don't really know you guys all that well. Like I've known of you guys. Shout out to Brandon Thompson, who's one of my favorite human beings on the planet, Mr. Airwolf Athletics himself.
Never heard of her.
Nice enough to introduce us formally. Athena, like how did you get your start like in this game in general? And then how did it evolve over time to like becoming, you know, a big wig with the ACL?
Oh man, that's such a intro. Big wig.
Listen.
I mean, I think, you know, just like a lot of people, I think I guess my story is a little bit different. So my husband actually played cornhole a lot. So I actually didn't initially attend cornhole events. He would go and, you know, I would go and do something else with some buddies. And then, you know, eventually I would attend our local club, Triple Play. That's where we play all of our events. They had a fundraiser tournament. Something had happened. All the staff got sick. The owner was there. He had to man the desk. There was over 60 players there for cornhole. It was just so much was happening. He's like, you know, I don't know what to do. Is there anyone who, you know, could maybe help or kind of, you know, go in between? And I was like, I can do it. Sure. You know, we'll just roll with it. Ended up rolling with it. He, you know, runs to the back, comes in. He's like, okay, are we good? And he looks around. He's like, oh, everyone's going. I was like, yeah, like we're good. I'm getting everyone where they need to go. We're fine. Everyone survived. You know, I figured it out. And then from there, players just started wanting, you know, ACL points.
Okay.
I was very, very new. Didn't really know what it was. Sent a message to my state director at the time, which was Todd Kosicki.
Okay.
And said, players want points. Don't really know what that means. Help me. And he just, you know, full force, you know, guided me through everything. You know, did lots of great training. And, you know, I went over to some of his regional events and, you know, he sat there, showed me what, you know, everything looked like. And then, you know, a few months later into the new season, I was offered a regional directorship position, season after that state director, and then started working open events. And then here I am, you know, with the ACL, a technical new title, National Director of Engagement. So that's pretty exciting.
So it's not bigwig, so for the record.
So what does that what does that title mean? Like, what is your primary responsibility?
So a lot of the responsibilities is, you know, kind of engaging with the community, engaging with directors. We also have our new player and director engagement points. So that's kind of something that I've been a pretty big part of that, you know, alongside Todd and our team. We've worked probably a little over 6 months, you know, putting everything together and, you know, making sure it's right and it makes sense for the players and just making it, you know, a little bit more fun, but also, you know, making it meaningful as well. So that's kind of a big part. I'm also a big part of the minor league teams this year. So I'm actually working one-on-one with all the managers, creating groups, doing application processes, making sure that they're all set to go, and just kind of, you know, helping out with, you know, questions and things like that. So a little bit of what I've done in the past, in addition to kind of, you know, a little bit more of the back end work. And then, of course, you know, our team grew with our area managers, which has been great.
What was your background before all this? Like, what were you doing before you were doing like cornhole stuff full time?
So before cornhole, I actually have a social media marketing business that I've done for over 6 years.
Okay.
And then I also I was in behavioral therapy. So I actually worked behavioral therapy for kids with special needs.
No kidding. Okay.
Autism was kind of the main background for that. And I did that for about 7 years.
I was going to say, like, I was going to say, like, oh, that makes sense. Like, you being good dealing with people in cornhole. But, like, I didn't mean it like that. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like you are like, but you can handle, like, when you go up to like these directors' desks at like these giant tournaments, there's always like 100 people with tablets or somebody asking questions. And you guys both like handle it. You make it look very easy.
Yeah.
And it could be very easy, like, to get overwhelmed. Before we move on, you kind of brought it up. One of my questions, I think last week we gave it pretty big kudos. I really liked the, are you guys calling it the PEP? Is it the PEP? Like, what are we doing with this?
PEP.
The PEP.
Excitement.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So the PEP program,
Sean.
I think, just as like a fan of the ACL, I think it's a really good thing you guys are doing. I think it was something that was missing out because now you have and you guys are both directors. How many players do you have that like they're not the best players? They know they're not the best players, but they show up to every tournament because they love the game. Like this is a great way to give back to those guys. So like the ones that are truly like honestly the foundation, the backbone of the ACL are the ones that show up every week. Not the best players in the world. You know what I mean? But like, so this is a small way to give back. And I feel like it's a win-win on both sides. Like you guys get the easy marketing for it. You know, it's a positive promotion. Players that are going to all these events feel like they're getting recognized in some small way, regardless of what it is. So I do want to give you guys kudos. I think that was a great, I really like that idea.
Yeah.
Good. I'm excited. It seems like a lot of people are, trying to figure it out, and it's generating a lot of excitement. People are still trying to figure out what it is, which will kind of roll out with a lot more information, towards that as we kind of progress towards player memberships getting activated and things like that. But it's super exciting. It's something that we kind of grew a little bit at our local club with some of our incentive programs, a lot of stuff at our state level in Arizona. And also, other groups and state directors have similar models and even some local directors. But this way it kind of, like you said, it shows that appreciation because, we do. These are the players we see all the time. They do feed into the events. And there's, a little bit of something, like you said, to just kind of show, hey, we see you, we appreciate you, and we do care for you.
I think the one point that Dane made last week, and I'm happy to hear that you have like a social media and marketing background, is that we love the idea. We just don't want it like, and this, again, I'm going to be critical of the ACL for a second. This something that they've not always done great is like they come up with an idea that we really like, but then there's no promotion afterwards. Like no one knows about it and it kind of just like fades away. So hearing that someone's in charge of it with like some sort of background like that, to me, gets me excited that this isn't going to like just do one announcement and then like cross your fingers like no one remembers this and like we're going to be good. Like that you guys are going to kind of slowly build this. I think it's a good step.
Yeah. I mean, we've mentioned teams in the past. Love the initial thought, and then this year it just kind of fell to the wayside. I'm sure there's things in place to make that even bigger. But you mentioned that you were kind of big on the minor league aspect of this, correct? All right, so I have one grievance that I need to air out.
Oh, well, this doesn't
about
happen
the
every
minor
day.
league. Yes,
Okay.
But I've been talking about this since the minor league program rolled out. We can't have 20 Pennsylvania Ringers teams, like different cities name the Ringers. We got to have some ability to let people be creative with the hometown city. So my plea is just to let these local clubs have their own logo and affiliate themselves, much like MLB teams.
Oh yeah, like
I'm just saying, like, yeah, they have the chance to. Those are the hats that I want to buy, or the minor league teams when I go to like New Era and stuff. Like they just have that potential to have a little bit more of a risque, maybe not as a professional logo, if you will. But I'm just a man, just airing my grievance here. Just it's been eating away at me since last season when I saw my 6th Ringers team come up. So just throwing it out there.
Now they can throw their club logo on there.
Yeah.
If they wanted to.
I mean, all right, that's a plus.
It is.
It's the name gets confusing to me, though. I will be honest.
Again, I think the minor league system has potential. I think that we've been talking about it again, I think for the last few months, is that we're still in the infant stages of professional cornhole. And like 100 years from now, we're going to look back on this and be like, every sport goes through this and we're all impatient, because it's 2024 and we want everything to happen tomorrow.
I just know 100 years from now, we're not going to see 20 aviators teams in the state of Ohio. We'll have different names for each one.
Yeah.
So
we have more than just
jump on
flight.
it right now. Very true. I mean, the Wright brothers didn't even take. They were just born here.
I mean,
they
we
didn't
have
take
the
flight here.
We have the best
in North
cornhole.
Carolina.
We have the best cornhole players in the country in Ohio. I mean, it's
That
like
we
not
do.
even close.
Yeah.
Debatable.
No, it's not. Right now, we have Jeremiah Ellis, Trey Birchfield, Adam Hissner. I mean, they've won a lot this year.
We'll take it.
I mean, against the best of across the country. So right now, I'm gonna take it. This is the one year I can hang my hat on it. So we're gonna do that because, listen, she's smiling down it. Well, let's just get it out. I already opened the episode telling everyone how bad the Browns suck. Okay, so I know somehow you're a Steelers fan and you're like in Arizona. So first of all, let's establish this connection. How are you a Steelers fan?
Heinz Ward. I am obsessed with him unjustifiably.
He retired like 18 years ago, right?
Heinz Ward, yeah, love him. When he retired, I went into mourning. I wore black every Sunday. I was very upset that they didn't have him at least on the staff. My husband had to watch me walk to this up until he got picked up on Arizona State University. I said, okay, now I can be happy again because we're also ASU fans.
Okay.
But I'm huge because if you think about it, just with him, he had such a positive attitude, and I love positivity.
Listen, you're never going to get me to say a single positive thing about Heinz Ward out of my mouth. Well, it'll never happen. He smiles. Yes, correct. He's also dirty. Yeah. That's all right. It's fine.
I mean, listen, what would happen? We could go down a list of lots of dirty players on multiple sides, but
I didn't know that you were a Steelers fan, and then until we talked last night, and it's like ironic because again, my wife's from Pittsburgh, so that always is fun. And,
he's just saying. I mean, the Browns quarterback's dirty in a different way. All right,
the whole different way.
Yeah,
whole different way. Yes. All right. So Ashley, I want to hear how did you get your start? Like, how did you find yourself? Because again, it sounds like you have a pretty busy life. Your kid just broke his arm last night.
Yeah. Yes. He's 9 too, by the way.
Oh, well, all right. Well, things to look forward to.
Well, I guess my husband actually went to cornhole. I want to say it was before COVID had happened, and he had went just about every single week. This local place started Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Well, I think I finally was tired of staying home and editing photos while he had went and had fun. John Michael, he'd stay here, which was totally fine. But after a while, he's like, "Do you want to go?" So I went twice. I think it was two or three times. And the next time he said, "Are you going to go to cornhole?" And I was like, "Well, if I'm going, I'm playing. I'm not going to sit there and watch you play cornhole."
Yeah.
Like, I'm competitive. So I grew up playing sports. So it was the competitiveness coming out in me. Like, I've learned in heels before just because I'll do it. Like, I want to have fun too. I don't care what.
So have I. I mean, no comment. We'll just leave it at that.
It's 2024.
Yep. Everyone's wild speculation ensues.
Yeah. And I think it actually helped make them kind of short. So the elevation was perfect and just gave me the right, it was just a little swing of the arm. That's it. But I had started then, and then COVID did happen. No cornhole was happening in our area for probably about 9 months, I would say.
Damn.
And my husband had this idea, "Hey, babe, let's start our own cornhole league." And I said, "What?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Baby, it is mid-wedding season." Because we do photography and videography.
Okay.
And August to December, we would only have 3 Saturdays off. And that's it. And for 3 years straight, too. And then finally in December, he still kept asking. I said, "Okay, let's do it." But we do it. We're doing it right. We're getting tablets. We'll figure out boards later. So everybody would just bring their boards until we, raised enough to go buy some.
Okay.
And we started 662 Cornhole. And that's been going ever since. I was more of a player than a director.
Okay.
We just did it to bring people together, grow a family, and have a good time. And so many people would tell me, "Hey, guess what? I can't wait when I get to clock out and come to cornhole." And they're like, "Thank you. You've made this so pleasurable and something for them to look forward to." So that really, truly meant a lot. And then I think it was about my second year into I guess what cornhole had been, 662 cornhole had been around for probably almost a year. And Jeff Richburg had reached out to me and wanted me to be a regional director. I turned him down 4 times. And then I finally was like, "Okay, might as well. I'm already doing it. I don't know what this ACL thing is about, but it sounds exciting. There's more things out there for people to achieve, set goals." And I think I've been with them for 2 seasons now. And now I was just regional director, of Mississippi. And now I am area manager for the West Side.
Yeah. So we got to talk about that, because that seems like a very big jump. And you're also now managing an area that you're not from or reside in. So, and I would assume, and again, there's other regional managers, state directors out in that area that would have also been qualified. So how did how did you get this position anointed up?
How did I? That would probably be. I would just say probably my smile. Honestly, I'm just kidding. I'm not really sure, but I did apply for our area.
Okay.
But I just did it because I didn't think I would get my area, because Jeff Richburg, he's been doing it a long time, and he's one I've always looked up to and also learned some things from.
Okay.
So I basically just did it knowing I probably wasn't going to get it.
Okay.
But I was like, what the heck, And I did it, and I remember the email Todd sent out, letting them know he's going to be reaching out to everybody. And I didn't get one. 2 weeks went by, and the next thing you know, "Hey, I know it sounds daunting, but we want you to manage the West Side." I'm like, That's exciting. I'm not scared. Let's do it. You know? So I think it's my energy, how much I do want to grow the sport and get people to really fully understand like what opportunities are out there, like no matter your age, seniors, women's, juniors. And I don't know if people even realize like how passionate we are about it. Like it's something we're truly trying to do, bring the community together through this. And a lot of people still don't know. They think it's just a backyard game still. When it's like, no, there's college opportunities. You're a woman. There's things out there for you now.
Yeah.
Senior, you don't have anything else to do. Come play some cornhole.
Exactly.
Seriously though.
We're just one big family bringing the community together. And that's what it is at the end of the day.
How big is your league right now? Like, is it still going?
Yeah, we're still going. We still play every Thursday, once a month. We did have 65 every Thursday for the longest time.
Okay.
But then we always run into inflation and things like that.
Yeah, of course.
So we're about anywhere from, I'd say, 22 to 40. Here lately, we've been getting a little bit more.
Okay.
And then actually a couple of weeks, we're actually a little bit smaller right now.
Okay.
But I think that everybody taking a break before the season gets started.
Yeah, and I think those summer leagues are always tough too.
Yeah,
I mean, like, because there's so much other
area,
stuff
there's
going on.
not really.
Yeah, there's not.
There's like one league that runs through the summer. Everything else is just outdoor blind draws. Just like come have fun. Yeah, and then we'll have our spring, fall, and winter leagues running. Like
I cannot stress this enough. If you're listening to the show and you're somebody that just plays by themselves and then like they'll go to a regional, because we do get a lot of those, right?
Yeah.
Like they nobody really knows who they are. They just go to the regionals, but they still enjoy the game. I can't stress enough how much you should go and join a league.
Yes.
Like if you think you like cornhole, like
Leagues
when you
are
go
where
to
it's at.
regionals, oh my God. Like I've said it 1,000 times on the show. I would never play in another regional open ever if I could just get my Monday night league night back. You know what I mean? Just going where I knew I was going to get 6 or 7 games, go hang out with people that I really, truly enjoyed and just go have a good time. Like it was a great experience. And if you haven't done that yet and you like it, it really came down to, do you want to do the podcast or do you want to play in a cornhole league? And one was like starting to pay bills, and the other one was like costing money. So, I had to decide there. So like, yeah, I do miss playing in the league probably more than anything.
Yeah, for me, it's start times. We can't get a league to start after 6:30 out here, so it kills me. Like by the time I get out of work, I can't make any league.
Yeah, for sure. So two kind of like, again, I'm not like hypercritical, but I'm interested to get your guys' points. You said that at the high point, you guys were getting like 65 players on a Thursday. And then even if it is summer, right? You know, like lower numbers now. Does that concern you at all? Like that the overall number is going down? Or do you think that there is just more people that are hosting tournaments and there's just more opportunities to play?
Me personally, I think it's just more people locally having, starting their own club, their own little league. And because we would have people drive during a weekday, an hour and a half, 2 hours just to come play.
Okay.
And so I think that's really at the end of the day, that's just what it is. Instead of it being an hour and a half for them or an hour, it's 30 minutes closer to them.
That's like your neighbor in Mississippi
really
though, right? Like, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's helping to grow, honestly,
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that's one of the things that I think everyone across the board needs to realize is that as the game is growing in popularity, although like certain league nights that used to have 200 people, like Cleveland Cornhole, I'm sure you guys know Dave Weiser well. We started back in the Dave Weiser Cleveland Cornhole days, and it was sold out. Like we were on a waiting list. Like, and I had to like hound him.
Just ran like butter. It was insane.
Monday nights, like 120 people, like just crammed into like this little thing, and it ran like clockwork.
Yeah, 16 sets of boards. I mean, you're started at 6:30, out before 10.
But you go to like that same league now, and you're not getting like quite many. Maybe you're getting like 80 players or so. It's still a good amount, but it's not like what it was. And I don't think it's anything like, oh, cornhole's not popular. I think there's 3 other places people can go on a Monday night now.
Spread out, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah,
like I think it's easier to find venues for smaller leagues.
Every club has their
league.
certain like cup of tea, and there tends to be, because we can say what we want. As much of a great community as cornhole can be, we tend to be a little cliquish at times. You know what I mean? And it's okay to hang with your crew. You know what I mean? And I think those crews are just kind of fracturing off now, and because it's so easy to run your own league. You know what I mean? And to start your own thing. I think it's just.
But let's be honest, we're all still a family. You don't have to like everyone in your family, but hell, you're related in some way, so you relate to something. I mean, that's what cornhole is in my mind.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Okay. So let's go over like format, like scheduling wise. Like this is a big change for you guys this year. Are you guys liking the changes? just overall thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm incredibly excited.
Okay.
I think about the changes. It's a good move in the right direction. There were lots of conversations. I think, and it's been lots of conversations since before, the last season started, and you can't just rip a Band-Aid off and say, here you go. This is what we're doing in the middle of the year, 2 months in, 3 months in, 4 months in. There's a lot of moving parts that go with that. But I love the formats. I love the changes. Crew Cup is back. That was a huge moment of contention for a lot of players.
Oh, it is. It's so much fun. Like it's the most fun event. It really is.
Yeah. And it is. And it's one of those things where, again, it's, these events are so large, to where you have to make those adjustments, try to figure out, okay, is this going to work? And then we roll with it and kind of, see, what are the moving parts? What can we do? What adjustments can we make? And it's, it is a give and take. You add something, sometimes you might lose something, or it gets, a little bit smaller, or maybe the day changes, and, trying to make accommodations for a lot of people within a 3-day time. And it's, it's a lot of events within, 3 days, and, you can't always, get it to where it works with everyone's schedule. But we definitely listen, lots of listening, lots of note taking, trying to figure out, where can we make this adjustment? Can we switch this around? Can we add more, events? And if we do, then what goes away, and how does that impact, the greater community as a whole, but also where's that moving forward in the growth of cornhole? There's lots of goals. There's tons of goals in, the cornhole community. And I think with the ACL, we try to do our best in terms of figuring out what is the grand scheme of everything and what can we do to push the sport forward, not just, at the local level, collegiate level, high school level, but what can we do on a global scale to bring the most eyes to a sport that we all love it. It's a great community and we do, appreciate it. But I think a lot of the events, I know the Round Limited is something that has had, I've seen both sides of the coin, we read it online.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that was very interesting to me, and the only thing that I can come back to is Arizona, because this is where I live. This is where I run tournaments. We actually do Round Limited formats very consistently here, and players love it. They get a lot of gameplay out of it. Even at our regional events, singles, doubles, blind draw, you're getting a Round Limited warm-up round going into a double elimination tournament. So instead of going, 2 and out, it gives you a little bit of, something. You're getting extra games.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with Round Limited, your average game is going to last 14 to 16 rounds for that recreational level.
Is that what it is?
I mean, I think that's generous.
We talked about it. Yes. In our interview with Quinn, is that even if it's round limited, right? And I'm trying to think, like 14 rounds. Like if I'm playing a round limited singles game, like if I get 14, I'm pumped.
If I go back through all of my games ever, and I look at 14 round games,
what percentage do you think?
I guarantee you it's under 5%.
You think,
guarantee it's under 5%. Yeah.
It's so true.
So, and I think a lot of players, it's different. If you've never played it before, if you've never really been in that environment, you don't know until you know.
Yeah.
And I think players are going to be pleasantly surprised at how much they're actually going to enjoy it. It's going to help, their mental game. It's going to give them something else to say, well, hold on. I'm usually someone who plays really well in the beginning. And then I kind of start faltering off because either I get tired or the endurance or the stamina. We see it time and time again. Even at, pro events and things like that, there's some players who are just really strong at that round limited. And then there's some who, they can come back from, a 20 or a 1 to an 18, someone's got an 18-point lead and then they've got 1 point and all of a sudden, boom, you're at 40 plus rounds and, the game changes completely. And those are exciting. But also, we want to bring something else that's also going to challenge players. Because I know, you guys have talked about it before on, other episodes. Lots of players have talked about is what is something that we can do to kind of change it, make it different, but also still provide something. Now, these round limited shootout formats, you're also getting 2 warm-up rounds in singles and doubles. So you're not just getting a quick 14 round double elimination. You're actually getting 4 games, which is more than what you would normally get in a classic format going straight to 21. And some of those 21 matches, I've seen them go 4 rounds and you're done. So it's providing a little bit of something. And
Yeah, that was like, are you?
Why did you look directly at us?
Do you have my ACL profile up right in front of you? You're saying that?
no, I wasn't going to say anything, but I gave an example. But just in general, it gives something different. And I think it's going to add more excitement than people realize. I think just it's different. It's a change. But it is a positive change. And it was for the players. We can bring Crew Cup back for the players to do that. We can give you more matches and more times to play. So you're guaranteed at least 4 instead of just 2. So there's lots of great things. Plus, if you have a platinum membership, you're getting $20 off singles and doubles instead of your typical 10 with what our gold membership is going to be. So we are trying to add more things for your average player, but also keep in mind that, it's a timing thing. And we also want to make sure that it's something different. And I think people are going to like it. We actually do league, and our leagues are straight teams league. They're balanced leagues. I only run teams leagues. I don't do any other kind of league where we're at 6 players on a team, all round limited until championship bracket. You go to 21, and I'm like, can you handle it? What can you do? And it is some of the most exciting games that we watch.
Okay.
Because of that.
I started doing the round limits actually last season in the very beginning. And my goal too was to actually look at this at a different way, because I went to opens and my goal was to get the players ready. Like, okay, if you decide to go to this open, you're going into it already have an idea of what a round limit is and what it's like, how to play it. And then also another plus to it is, like Athena said, you're getting more games out of it. You're not going, you're not just guaranteed 2 games, you're guaranteed 4. Or, and then if they add more round limits or however many rounds, then it could be 5 or, But the goal at the end of the day was to make them happy also, but also to challenge them, kind of like Athena said. But when I started doing those, I think it was the beginning of this past season, they enjoyed it because they were getting more games. They were having more fun than, oh, crap, I went 0-2. They got to warm up a little bit.
No, it's very true.
I mean, we've been there plenty of times.
As a casual player, I like hearing that, because if I go to a regional, and whether I should or not, if I'm in the advanced division and I don't show up, like I play in maybe 2 regionals a year now, I'm always facing the top dog, whether it's Adam Hissner or whoever the hell shows up that day. I have them first. It's basically a buy for them.
Yeah,
half the time I have a play-in game.
Yeah, they get a nice little chuckle.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's
Sean step up.
I know chances are I'm probably going to go 0-2. I know it's probably, and I just want to play. When I get out of the house and I actually get to play in a tournament, I don't care if I win or win the whole thing. I would love to. I'm competitive, but I just want to play more than 2. That's always my goal. It's I just want to play as much as I can because I don't get to play very often. So I like hearing that you have some sort of a warm up and you're going to give back, because again, if I'm going to an open, it's round limited and I go 0-2, and I just spent a fucking hotel room, and you know what I mean? That's where the complaints are going to come in at. As directors, right? People that are putting on these big events when this round limited, do you guys see any, do you guys foresee any issues or problems with round limited, or is your life going to be easier because timing wise, it should be pretty Johnny on the spot? You're not going to have these games that are going 40 rounds. I mean, it should flow pretty nicely.
I think it's more so just an exciting, something different, where we're used to the consistency. Plus with the round limited format, that's where we are adding in these extra fun events. You're getting mini boards, you're getting, Crew Cup, you're getting all these other things. So it's not just one individualized event.
Yeah.
I think players will be excited for it. At our state championships event in Arizona, we actually did, warm-up rounds for tons of events, and then you were seated by your points, but it gave players so much more. And they're a lot more exciting to watch, especially if those players are as equal in terms of their, playability. Are they about the same skill level? Because even in a round limited, you could win 2-0.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so different, but it's really fun. And I think players are going to like it. It's a different shift. Now, a lot of our opens are not going to be round limited. We're doing 3.
Okay, so this has changed. All right, and I know this has changed because originally I think it was 6.
That included our signatures.
Okay, so it was 6 total. Yeah. Okay, so it's a third of all the events then.
Yeah, okay. A third of all the events. So for the signatures, the pro players for those specific signature events, which also players are eligible to go play in the recreational field and things like that. But 2 of those are shootout format, also because the pros have their pro shootout.
Okay.
So it is a third, but that's inclusive of the signature series. So you're getting about 8 opens that are straight classic to 21.
Now, signature series are completely separate. They are the new national. Like, are there opens attached to it, or are there going to be just like, tournaments to try to draw people in for like the broadcast?
So there are opens attached to the signature series this year. So when we say we have 18 events for players to go to, we have 18 events for them to attend.
Okay.
So there are going to be, lots of availability for other players to come in, play, and compete. And it's again a little bit different. I know in the past it was similar where, we had some of those events happening at the pro events that we separated it, again, figuring out what works best, what's going to work for the players, what's going to work for the, pro players. And each year, I think we evolve, switching something a little bit to make it a little bit different, a little bit more unique. And, trying to make the change a positive change for all of the players, worldwide, and what's going to work for all, not even just players, but for directors as well. Because we're also providing, here's a different option for you to use at the local level, and it can still be fun. It is fun. It's a blast. It's
so
just kind of your perception.
Why the flip flop? Like, you guys went from a model where it was nationals and everyone was included, and it was like, like this big event every time. And then you're like, no, we're going to make nationals super inclusive. It's only pros, and then like the elite program or PDC, whatever you wanted to call it at the time. And now we're kind of going full circle, and we're going back to like, just kidding, we're going to include everybody. As directors, I have to imagine having the nationals as just pros and elite had to be easier, right? There's less people to manage. I mean, obviously the stakes are a little bit higher, but I would imagine it's got to be a little bit easier. Is it going to make your guys like more difficult, including everybody now, including like an open, like at these signature events?
No, I mean, it's going to be really similar. I mean, you also have to, consider a lot of the directors who are working the opens. You're always going to have, either some type of a national director, area manager. There are people who have those skill sets where they've consistently, ran these events. So that there's always going to be someone there who's going to make sure that it's smooth. You do have people who've been in this game, and even directors for many, many years. You're not just getting someone who's brand new, first year, and never really used the system, just getting used to it. And that's where I think the differences lie. And our goal is to educate all these directors. We're going to provide them a ton of tools this season. They're actually getting a lot of tools this year, which is super exciting. We've got lots of education for them. But at the opens for, if you throw me into an open with 500 to 800 players, that's normal. It's fine, for some of us. And we are, actively training, other directors. We invite, a regional or state director within that particular state and say, hey, come on over. Let's show you what we do. This is how we do it. How can we help you? What information do you need? What are questions that you have that maybe you haven't had a chance to ask? And then they run into things that they don't normally see because, you're working about 20 to maybe 60 players on average, or even at a regional event, maybe 60 to 150. And open, you're going to run into everything and some. And I think it doesn't change anything really for the directors, minus how we time the event. And we're, ACL's done such a good job in terms of doing so many different variations of timing the event that, we're finding that sweet spot. And you figure that out each year as you change the tournament style. It's like you said, what was that shift? Why did that shift happen? I think moving the nationals to their own was to kind of try it out, like everything else we're doing. Does it work? Do they prefer that? Is it better? Is it going to bring more of the fans to that event just to see them? Does it give, the pro players a little bit of opportunity to, just focus on that? Or is it better to have everybody come in and play? And you don't know until you try it.
I mean, I would imagine most pros would prefer that it just be them. I would imagine like that if you were taking a poll. But again, I guess I was always very confused on when you guys separated. Like to me, it didn't make like you're taking away the people that you want to go to these broadcasts.
Yeah, there wasn't enough butts and seats.
God bless the pros. God bless the pro players. Right? We need them in the league. But like they can't even do like more than a Facebook post to thank their sponsors afterwards. Asking them to attend a broadcast is like pulling teeth. I mean, and it's just because like listen, if I'm sitting in the crowd and I was competing and I wanted to be on the broadcast, I don't want to fucking go watch them.
That's true.
Like, I don't care.
You're just jealous the whole time.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm like, I don't need to go watch this.
Nerds like us are like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Put in 47 bags in a row.
Yeah, exactly. So Ashley, I'm interested. So if I was listening to the show right now and I was like, I'm in an area where there's maybe not a whole lot of like ACL representation and I'm like considering doing a director, like what would be your sales pitch to somebody that's like considering like starting and becoming involved as like a director of at any level?
Okay. I wouldn't necessarily look to try to sell it to them.
Okay.
I think what my goal would probably be just like invite them over to one of our nights on a Thursday. Like, hey, come check out Cornhole. Let me show you, kind of what's going on, what it's all about. And just kind of start there and then just read the person really to see if they're liking it and not liking it. Because typically if someone is more interested, they're going to come back and ask me certain questions. They're going to want to know more information, what direction they need to go, what step they need to go. If they're not asking those questions, they're probably just kind of like stuck in their ways. And I don't ever want people to feel like I'm trying to push them a certain direction. And I've been trying to make it more open even here lately. Like, hey, if you are interested in, running a local event or want to know more about it, come let me know. Because whenever I went to Work Worlds, I actually have always had this couple players, but two always very eager to learn. They would learn the tablets. They would understand. They would help here and there, help other people with the tablets. Because I'm really big on teaching people in the moment. Hey, I don't know how to do this. Well, here, let me show you real quick.
So you can do it and not have to walk back up to the desk.
Listen, those are the unsung heroes of every cornhole league or regional are the guys that help out the directors, but like don't ever get any credit.
Yeah.
And like I can think of 4 guys or 5 guys at Cleveland area that like they don't get any credit, but like they're always there setting up and tearing down at the end of the night. You know what I mean? Like they don't. I'm sure you guys all have like that same crew, right? You know what I mean? Like the same.
Yes. Well, this one of the ones that actually had a set of 4 of them, 4 or 5. But Aaron was also there, and he was one of my main ones that always showed how much how eager he was, and he did nothing. I sent to them. I said, look, I've chose you 5 for a reason. You each have a different quality. And then Aaron was really one that he was just like, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm like, yes, man. I mean, I've seen you, you've learned, you've listened, you never said you wanted to do it, but I could just see that in him. And not to even told him then, cause it was recent. It was during Worlds.
Okay.
I said, I want people to know that they can come asking me these questions. They can, if they want to know, or want to learn, they can come and ask me these kind of things. Cause I think some people might be a little nervous or scared or don't know that they can.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I want them to know, like, we're trying to grow this for the community, for everyone else. So we do want more people to also learn it, because we get more hats as we go farther and farther in. And now, even as an area manager, there are more other things that I need to do and stay on top of as well. And just keep it, keep growing within our community and let them know, like, hey, you too can also come to a regional. It don't matter what level you play on, because our goal is to let everyone know. Like I did, what did I do? I think I did like knockout and pile up at my regionals, my last regional of the season, mini board tournament. And if those people can see, or these new people that are interested in being directors, that they can have fun, then they'll go tell their friends.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's our goal at the end of the day. Everyone gets these opportunities that are out there for them.
Apparently I just need to ask questions, because I'll be honest, I'm the first person that when that tablet starts shorting out, I'm like, I'm going to go get a beer. Right, you guys figure this out. I'll be back in 5 minutes. All right.
Well, if you had bought it to me, I would have showed you.
I think you make a good point though about when you first, especially when you join like a league, or even if you're going to your first ever regional, like the director, like you see you guys sitting behind a desk with you're looking very official. It can be kind of intimidating. Like you can go up and talk to them.
At the end of the day, it's actually just a folding table with a tablecloth on it. It's not an impenetrable force.
No, but like I do think it's important. So if you're listening to this and you're kind of getting new into it, like go up to your director and like listen. If you go up and talk to them and you don't get a good vibe, then maybe it's just not going to be a good fit for you in general.
Yeah.
Right. Like I can't tell you, like once I figured out Dave Weiser, right, and he's a complicated cat. Once I figured it out, like my whole goal every week was like we would just try to make him laugh. Like our whole goal, like we would like
we're pretty successful at it.
And like and then he kind of got our humor, and then like he would have fun. Our team name was Ass Poles, and like he just had way too much fun like announcing it. And like every time he announced it, like he'd get a few chuckles. We'd always like look over him real quick and like we know you're smiling over there. Like you can't do it. So
I feel you smiling, Dave.
I do think it's really important. Like the directors are a solid representation of what the league should be. So like if you feel like you can't approach that person, then it's probably just not a good fit.
Yeah. And also know too, though, if we are in the moment and trying to like figuring something out, maybe go try again if you're just not feeling it, because we could just be trying to figure out a problem or a situation.
Correct.
But so come back. If you don't feel that vibe with that person, that director, come back. They're probably just figuring out an issue and just need a second.
Athena would say you just have to develop some sort of a coping mechanism, and then like you can come back and then we'll reassess the situation kind of thing.
Now I am intrigued though, because you both actually brought up mini boards.
Yeah.
So I love mini boards. I think it's a great little avenue. I'm just curious, like for like the mini board tournaments, what size board are we looking at, and what's the distance? Because I know that there's certain variations on it.
Yeah, I think it's 13. Isn't it 13 inches? And I think our distance is 17 or 23. I could be wrong though. You know.
I mean, I've seen the 1x2s and like the the vacation boards. What are those, like 2x3s or something?
Yeah, no, it won't be the vacation boards. It'll just be your, everyday standard mini board set. And then they're at about 13.5 feet. So it's literally half of 21 is what we make the distance for those.
Perfect.
And those are fun.
Because that's the boards I have down here and that I practice with all the time. So is there ever going to be a potential for maybe a mini board pro?
No, never say never.
I mean, I think that might be my avenue. The older I get, those mini bags just feel better and better throwing them. So maybe that's the avenue.
I leave for 2 minutes. You're talking your mini board game up.
Hey, it's still good. I mean, I got them sitting right there.
So go ahead, Athena. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, mini boards are great.
They are.
We actually started doing Crazy Cornhole, which a lot of directors also started offering, which is a blast.
What is
Crazy
this?
Cornhole.
I don't get out.
Hang on. Can I guess right now? Is Crazy Cornhole full set plus a mini board like inside of that, and you play both of them at the same time?
Not at the same time.
That would be kind of sweet.
Right?
I was picturing that. I'm like, oh shit.
I think it would be dope.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
So one lane is designated regular. One is mini boards. One could be skinny boards. One could be airmail. You do a swap. Wherever you land is where you land. And that's kind of what you have to do. It is just for fun, just completely entertaining. And the amount of people who will just come out for that is a blast. We do murder mystery cornhole. We're getting Voltaria cornhole put together. We've got all these different styles, all using our software. So you can do anything and make it fun. And that kind of, as you kind of touched on, is it does come down to the director.
Yeah.
What do they want to do? What kind of entertainment do they want to provide? How do you change things up? And, things like that. Like when you said, mini boards, I could be a mini board pro. That's something where once you start bringing in like these, the club memberships for the club directors, they're going to have their own standings. They're going to be able to really make things work for their particular club for those players. And, they could say, hey, you are the official mini board pro champion of the month. Who's going to take them down at the next one? You can really make so much out of something just completely different. And every area is different. What we do in Arizona might not be what you would want to do in Ohio or different states, but it's, I think the goal ultimately is cornhole needs to be fun and should be fun.
We have too many purists in our area to run something like that.
Dude, like
it would take the right
the
crowd.
First time where was it? The first game, was it when we went to Erie and we saw those guys playing like where they just had to keep a bag on the board. Like there's that mountain of bag.
Yeah,
I'm like,
what?
Up. What is this? And like someone's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, what are you playing? And they're like, and I'm like, I've never seen this play before. They're like, where are you from? Like from Cleveland, like where we actually play cornhole. Like, what is this nonsense you guys are playing? But like they were having a blast and like there was a huge crowd around. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, how do you, but it's fun. Like I'm just not into, I just have never been exposed to like half these games.
Some people start their tournaments around here, like with a pile up, like a $5 pile up or a $5 knockout.
Okay.
Knockout, you have to go in the hole.
Yeah.
Basically, don't go in the hole.
It's just like basketball knockout, right? I would imagine. Okay. Except for running for a rebound kind of thing. It's way better.
You don't have
my
to
speed.
do that.
Yeah, that's more my speed.
The bags don't bounce away. They just lay on the floor.
Correct.
There's so many. I mean, phase 4 is the one thing that once players are winding down, they all get on a board as far away from the folks who are playing their championship match or, semis or anything. And the massive group of players will go and they play phase 4. Same thing, pile up on bags. There's some cancellation system. it's a whole thing, and they love it. They'll put money on the line for it. I mean, there's tons of things you can do.
I've
to
low
make
key
it fun.
wanted to run a tournament that, like I said, that's set up with the mini boards on the inside, and then like each side throws, but then they step in and throw the mini boards next, and it's a fully compiled score.
Okay, yeah, you could
across your 8 bags per side, and do something like that. I think it would be awesome, but
that's just you.
That's just me. Maybe I'm just trying to give myself a chance against a pro. Like if I would play that against somebody, I might have a chance.
Fair enough.
So if you go to the Opens, then you need to play in mini board tournaments if you ever go to the Opens or travel anymore. That'll be
I'm definitely going to. I mean, that's without a doubt.
As directors, would you guys ever consider running a tournament where you change the rules of the game just a little bit, where it's like your first bag can't go in? Like if it goes in, it's just a lost bag. It's just like as if you missed the board, but it can't go in. Now somebody else can push your bag in, but when you throw your first bag on both sides, cannot go in the hole.
It would definitely have to be known up front before.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it has to be marketed. I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, and its own little event probably, but it sounds interesting and fun. You just, you never know. But definitely as long as you're upfront, straightforward, transparent, and everyone knows, okay, look at the regional, we're going to do this specific crazy event, kind of like crazy cornhole.
Yeah,
As long as you're specific, why not try something different? Make it fun.
How do you guys handle all the criticism with like payouts and stuff? Like as directors, like regardless, you could be 100% payout and someone's still going to bitch about it, I'm sure. So how do you guys handle all that stuff?
I think if you just explain, and again, it comes down to transparency. So what information do they know going into the tournament?
Okay.
The best one, or I guess example I can give is, open events.
Okay.
We put down exactly to the T. This is what the percentages are going to be. This is what it's going to be based off of. And that's what it is. So, going into that tournament, what that could potentially look like.
Yeah.
For our state championships event in Arizona, same thing. We either had a guaranteed prize pool for certain events, a percentage for certain events. You have your door fee that's taken out before. So
yeah, but that's all the boring ACL stuff. I'm saying like local league stuff. Like we know, like you guys you're all buttoned up on the ACL. I get that. Like you guys, I know you guys are very transparent, and I appreciate that. I think most people would.
We're talking about the bar top warrior that's sitting there calculating all the numbers on the app as he goes through and seeing what the payout is and be like, hey, we're 25 light at the end of it. It's like,
what are we doing?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Is I don't deal with that at the local level. So
okay.
I'm always surprised when player and directors, there are some who are like, this is horrible. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never experienced having that issue at the local level. Initially when our club started, it was 100% payout like everybody else.
Okay.
We adopted a different change. So at the time, our club was the only one running cornhole in our particular area. We did have another club. Both clubs offered 100% payout. We were running ACL events 4 days a week at our club. And you could play cornhole 7 days a week. You can still play cornhole 7 days a week at the club that we're at. Some are ACL events, some are fundraisers. And this past season, we had other directors come on. So we brought in Marana, which is a great example. Brand new. They started about, a year ago. This is their second year, actually going into their third year now. And then we have, Kathy Santa Rosa also in Tucson. We all share the identical player pool, literally the same player pool. We are all about 15 to 20 minutes away from Cafe. Cafe is about 20 minutes away from Marana. Same players, same people. And we all sat down as, directors. I said, what can we do to help each other out? And one of the directors said, you know what? I feasibly have overhead. I can't do anything that's not a 70% payout. You guys are doing 100% payout. Now, circumstances are different. And that's what I think players don't understand is what one director is able to do doesn't mean another director can do that. At our club, the owner owns the building. He owns everything there. He could do 100% all day, every day. The other director had to rent a storage unit, needed to buy a trailer, needed to haul their boards, needed to purchase the equipment. Yeah. So they had overhead. So what we decided as a collective, which I would hope that a lot of directors do, reach out to your neighbors. We're all friends, we're all family, we're a community. what is the middle ground? So ourselves and the other group said we will both do 80% payout. You can remain at your 70, and that way it's never 100% payout. So the players, we don't hear those complaints, at least in the part of Arizona that I'm from. And I think most of Arizona, again, as long as you say this is what it is, it's fine. And I think as a director, like you said, if they trust you, if they have a relationship with you, if they're comfortable enough to go to you, you're going to keep going to those places. If you don't agree with that director or think that, they're doing something out of touch, you're going somewhere else. And there's a place for everyone, which is what I tell everyone. You're going to find your home. You're going to find where you want to go. If I could wave a magic wand, I would love cornhole 15 miles or 15 minutes away from every household. Just so you don't have to drive far.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's fun. It's a release for all of us.
Yeah. I agree with transparency is always number one key too. And I'll tell my players, up front what's going where, because especially if their building fee is separate from their actually entry fee, they know that up front. And then they know like their player pool, you're going to get this amount. And they know that 20% is going towards tablets. And then depending on, the amount of numbers, it could be $40, but $40 going to another, to another tablet or another set of boards. Like the player that actually stepped in for me, I allowed him to keep that 20% because he was doing me a favor. He was also showing up using his time for those players to go play. And that's another thing too, is because we paid out 100% as well. Me and my husband, we started 662 Cornhole. We paid to play. We paid out 100%. The owner of the building got all of the, building fee money. So whenever I did make the transition as an ACL director, I made it key. I didn't do it like midway. I waited till, I think it was maybe the summertime, right? I was getting close to start. I'm like, hey guys, we need boards. We're going to do this percentage payout now. And I've always been very transparent about payouts. And even to this day, I still tell them, look, if you got a question, send me a message. I'll literally break it all down for you. That way they know, like, I'm being full transparent. If you still don't understand, let me know, come talk to me or send me a message. And I have them do that. And they make sure they make sure to tell me, hey, I'm not mad or anything. I was just curious. I said, no, I didn't take it that way. I promise you. Like, I want you to ask me these things. Like my title, my back of my new jersey says, ask me anything. And that's just hoping that people will read it and be like, okay, she's cool if I come up there and, ask this crazy question, which is probably not a crazy question, but that's how they're going to start the conversation. Hey, I got a crazy question for you.
For sure.
I mean, we do need to reach a point though, where you shouldn't have to send everything to somebody. That irks me to no end because a lot of people don't understand what it does take to run a league. So you just need to, if you have the trust to go to that league, and you need to change that payout to handle the league, people just need to trust that. And stop asking questions because nobody's getting rich off playing your local league or local blind draw off cornhole.
Did you ever once wonder when we were like in our heyday, we weren't bad. Like, oh, if we win Division 2, like what our payout's going to be?
I wanted
this
guy.
Yeah, you wanted the little trophy.
That little trophy right there. That's all I gave a shit about. I did not care about any money bringing home. That's why, like, I've always been a strong proponent that, like, if you're not a pro and you're at a local league, like, I don't really care if you win money or not. That's just kind of how I live it. You're there, like, you look at all the other sports across the board. Most of them are just playing for hardware. Adult softball is the number one proponent. These dudes travel the country, do the exact same thing that cornhole players do, and they're literally just winning a trophy.
Yeah, correct.
And bad knees for life. Yeah. So, like,
I grew up playing softball, so my knees hurt all the time.
Yep.
So one random question is this: I know ACL posted today about like the directors like form, like basically like how much it would be, at each level to be like a director. Is this the first year that you guys are charging for local directors?
No, we've always had a local director fee. It's actually a different fee because we're now calling it a club director, and we're actually giving the ability for monthly payments.
Yeah, I saw that. It was like $9.99 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that was just feedback. We taken a lot of feedback. We see a lot of it, and a lot of the feedback that was provided to us was, especially the local level. And like you said, these directors are doing 100% payout.
Yeah.
Sometimes paying that membership up front is, it's tough. So this was a way to say, okay, what can we do as the ACL to try to alleviate some of that or at least help you to where now it's, a month to month to month. Now we also included for the first time this season a basic membership level.
Okay.
That is also new. Now, that is our way to say, hey, if you want to become a director, or maybe you're a player, you're in your backyard, you're having a barbecue, you know, mom, dad, friends are over, you want to run a tournament, get a basic membership, basic director membership, and it's free. And you can run, you know, it is limited to what you can do, but it still gives you access to the software, learn the software, play it. You want to do, you know, basic scoring, do basic scoring. You want to test out bag tracker, do bag tracker, but you don't give ACL points at that level.
Yeah.
But now anyone has the ability to just try and see what it looks like and, you know, really dive deep and make those decisions before maybe you decide to become, you know, a club director.
I think it was a step that was like much needed in the software.
Yeah.
Very desperately, because that's, you guys were getting hammered in that area by another company. So I think it was something desperate. I think it's a good change for you.
You didn't
guys.
wear the hat today. I thought for sure you were gonna just.
I had to wear
throw
this
it in
new
the
one.
fast.
Is this cool? Do you like it?
I do like it.
Dude,
yeah,
right.
it is.
I don't know if you guys can see it.
It doesn't translate well on camera.
It says
but
Cleveland, but it's like the Super Mario's. Like,
yeah, it looks like
background?
downtown Cleveland, but in Super Mario artwork.
cool.
Man, I didn't know you were so hip.
Dude, I loved it. I saw it. I'm like, dude, I gotta get this.
When did you become hip?
I know.
All right, you
Every
got
once in a
style
while.
now. I'm wearing my fish hat. I'm
Every once in a
good.
while. All right. Yeah, so, and the reason I asked it, I had an anonymous person ask. They wanted to know about if this was the first year that local directors were charged. So I didn't think so. I thought you guys had always charged something. I feel like if you're going to give out points, like it's a way to like legitimize, you know, whoever's doing this by, you know, at least accepting some sort of payment. I mean, as backwards as that might seem, like it does kind of legitimize it though a little bit.
It does.
So, all right.
Yeah.
You have
And
there.
also,
Go ahead.
sorry, just going off of that. Also,
Yeah.
you know, paying that membership as a director means that you truly care about also, you know, what you're doing in a way. It's almost like a business. You invest into your business, you invest into something that you're doing that kind of motivates you to consistently, you know, make improvements, adjustments, and continue to grow. So that's kind of, you know, another part of it as well.
As directors, do you guys get inundated on Facebook with messages from apparel companies? Because I keep looking down and I've gotten 17 fucking messages from apparel company people. Like I'm about to lose my mind. Like I don't understand. Like they just keep popping up.
Yeah.
Like I tried blocking.
We know you're the same person.
Like it drives me crazy. Like it drives. Oh my God. Pisses me off so much. Like I'm trying to focus here.
But hey,
and, like,
they all make #1 jersey. Okay. They all make #1 jersey.
All right.
Number one.
Before we get into listener questions, there's one more, I think, like big topic, especially with your guys' background that I'm very interested in getting. There is a looming board stamp coming, all right, for next year. And I know that this has a lot of people concerned about it. And it cracks me up because most people that are concerned about it don't even run leagues. It's weird.
That's very true.
You know what I mean? Like 90% of them that you hear about, like, it's like, do you just play in the league, or you like, why are you concerned about it then? To me, if I were running a league, I would find it that if I'm not able to get my boards paid for via sponsorship of some sort of local marketing, you're doing it wrong. And if you need help for a small fee, I'll help you out. You know what I mean? Like reach on out. Well, I'll show you how to do it. I mean, what do you guys think about it? I mean, you guys run leagues, you run ACL leagues. You know that the stamp's coming. Your boards are going to have to be updated. What do you guys think about all this stuff?
I think it's actually going to be great. I know there's, you know, not everything's out yet about it, and there is some negative towards it, but at the end of the day, everyone's about to be to where they need a new set of boards anyway. They've probably had them 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
People have probably stood on them. They've probably been rained on. So at the end of the day, everyone I'm sure is getting close to where they're about to have to buy new ones, or when it does become an actual thing where you have to have them, it's probably going to be time anyway to get them. And I think it's going to help everything stay more consistent. You won't go to this place over here and throw on some that are just totally bouncy. They're going to be the same all across, no matter what, if it's an ACL event at the end of the day. There's, you know, I think there's going to be positive to it. It might just take like anything new and different scares people. It's the unknown. So at first it probably will, but at the end of the day, it's to make everything more consistent and for the players as well. So
is there a grandfathering process at all for this?
Yep, there is.
Okay.
So I guess a couple of things with that. So I guess kind of piggybacking off of what you had said.
Yeah.
A majority of directors are getting sponsorships for boards. They're replacing their boards. At my club, we replace them every year. So we actually never play on the same boards for longer than a year.
Okay.
At the end of the season, they either go to the sponsors, they stay at the club for fundraisers, and then we just re-up either the same sponsors or we just get more. One thing that I can say is that for the director standpoint, a lot of directors, again, are new, or it's something scary, or maybe they're not consistently getting their boards. Your average director at a local event is probably about 5 to 10 sets of boards is what they're, doing. Now that comes back to that 100% payout bit where, they might have to start doing an 80% payout to help with that. But what's fantastic is we are actually going to be providing director training and resources. How do you reach out to sponsors? Here's what worked. Here's a actual email for you to send to, a potential sponsor in your area. This is what you do, talk to your Chamber of Commerce, do this. So we're actually going to provide them a ton of
an old Chamber of Commerce comment. I love that.
Yeah.
As a small business dude, like I love Chamber of Commerce. Like the networking there's a power in networking. And I know it sounds dumb, but like I've had a motto since we've started the show, don't burn bridges. You know what I mean? Like you never know when someone might be coming that, like that relationship might mean something. It's the same thing in small business. And that's how you have to think of this as a director. Even if you're not making a whole bunch of money, still think of it as a small business and how would you grow it normally?
Yeah.
Now, do you think there's like anything on the table for like a new director to possibly have like boards purchased on terms with the stamp where they can like pay it off in like 90 days or something?
So every manufacturer who is approved for stamps, a lot of them are actually offering director discounts. There's, programs. Some of them are doing incentive programs. Some of them are working with these directors. Now that's, between each of those, manufacturers and those directors, because every director again has a totally different need to what they're looking for, what they're asking for. The stamp itself doesn't go into effect until 2026. Now, if you're an active director who already has ACL boards from any of those manufacturers, they're grandfathered in. So if you already have them from any of those manufacturers, you're fine. At some point, we will.
Are we allowed to say? Can we say who the manufacturers are? Like, is that public knowledge yet?
Sure.
Like, is that public knowledge yet?
A lot of them have been. A couple of them have already started selling their boards actually a little while ago.
Because like there was only a certain select group of like 8 that were included in this, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I think
and it's about like ones.
Yeah.
Now also what a lot of people have to understand with that process is that process started months ago.
Mm-hmm. I was saying, I've been sitting on this for a long time.
Yes,
I've been waiting for this interview.
Started a while ago, and there is a process now. What I would encourage is probably having someone like Josh Keck. He's in charge of.
He's avoiding us apparently. He's asking for sponsorship, but he won't like respond to a message. So
we're not going back on his podcast.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, so he's a great resource when it comes to that. Yes. He actually handles all of the licensing and things like that, so he can speak on that aspect. On the director aspect, they're going to get a lot of tools. They're going to get a ton of education. I mean, we're probably rolling out at least, there's going to be over 30 training video sessions for directors to cover everything above the moon. They're getting a plethora of resources that, we've been, working out for a few months. And it's not as scary as people think. Because again, directors roll through boards very consistently. It's our tool as an advertising tool in order to get those new boards. Most directors don't like to keep their boards for a long time. A lot of them have different partnerships with businesses. They just might not understand how to do that just yet, but we are going to educate them and say, this is how you approach somebody. Because it's a great tool. There's lots of stuff you can do. There's businesses who say, hey, I want to get 5 sets of boards with my logo on it. I want them at this event. And then after the event is over, I want to give them as customer appreciation gifts. Incredible, amazing. And you can do that. You can offer that. So there's so much that you can leverage with cornhole boards. Same way with banners and advertising.
Listen, you can go up to somebody and be like, listen, we have 80 people that come to our league every week, and it's going to cost you $350. Most of it, you can go up to 500. They don't need to know. But I mean, like, really, I mean, like most professional boards, if you get $300, it's more than enough.
Yeah, I mean, you might get a little more like traffic from a Google ad.
Yeah, but still,
it's not going to be for $300.
But that's like nothing, though. Yeah, if someone reached out to us and be like, "Oh, you want to spot?" Like for us, we never get board sponsorships or like, "Hey, you want to sponsor the whole fucking thing?"
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, if we start small, maybe but like, we consider doing it. Why not?
Absolutely.
I don't know. I feel like it's not that hard. Like again, you just can't be afraid to shoot your shot. You know what I mean? Like I think we said it before we even started this. Like I've been denied a lot in my life. You know what I mean? Like, but you can't stop. You just keep going. You know what I mean? Like, what's the worst they can say is no.
Yeah.
And you move on.
Exactly.
The worst they can say is no. Like I've been told no 1,000 times in my life, like daily basis.
Every day during prayer when you keep
I have
saying,
2 kids and a wife. I hear
6
no
feet tall.
more than anyone. Like this might be the most common response I get. So all right, we're gonna start. We're gonna start with the hard hitting questions.
Yeah, you guys are popular, by the way.
Yeah,
I had a bunch of comments for listener questions on.
I think this is one of my favorites. Is Gina Ramirez? All right, I don't know if you've heard of her. Kind of a big deal. She wants to know what is Athena's favorite bag company.
Oh man, she did that, huh?
She did that. I'm doing that.
Oh, Gina. I do not have a.
Oh my goodness! This is sponsored by Draggin Bags.
Head over to dragginbags.com and get yourself a set today. Drop code Big Asp 12 at checkout to get the best bags in the business.
What bags did your husband throw in the qualifier?
My husband is actually sponsored by Draggin Bags.
Oh, that's weird. Weird.
He is, yes.
Okay.
He is sponsored by Draggin Bags. They actually have an incredible relationship, and it's such a tough question because I'm not someone who plays.
Yeah, I get it.
So I cannot really provide a great answer to that. Now, what I can say,
you realize when I clip this, you're not gonna speak anymore. Like, yeah, I got what I wanted. We're good.
She said Draggin Bags. That's all we needed.
So it's tough, Draggin Bags is a hot bag here in Arizona. I like all of them because I have relationships with a lot of these, bag makers and manufacturers. I know them all personally. So picking a favorite as a director is difficult because I don't play. Now, what I can say is a bag that I do play with when I have to either fill in a spot or when I am playing. I've got Draggin Bags. So I have a great relationship with Daniel Lambert, Reynolds, Jeff Reynolds.
Damn it. I was just going to say, don't get Bill. Don't do it. Don't say his name.
He's going to message us now.
Rich Seamus, Anthony Kissel, Brotherhood, with Brent. Those are probably the ones that I consistently, talk to. But then there's so many others that I get to have great, conversations with. So as a player, that's not a great question because I'm not sure on a player standpoint, but I would say that I enjoy them all equally, but I speak to some more than others.
All right.
Man, what a political answer.
Ashley, what about you? Right. So you're also a player, right? You enjoy playing. You weren't just Ashley. Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
what's your bag? What's your bag of choice right now when you go to play?
I don't play as much anymore either. I do as just a fill-in. But that one game will really, give me that irk. It used to be an old company that's not with them anymore. So I just throw whatever bags, typically the person has. Now, if I go to my OGs and I've been throwing those and then I go back to someone else's, it's totally different. I'm like, oh gosh.
What was the company? Like, don't skip over that.
Yeah.
What was the company that you used to throw?
As a director, I'm kind of the same way. Like I love everybody, but I can tell you who just started sponsoring us. I don't know if that's a thing. Is that legal here?
Well, we know it's BG. That's fine. But I mean, they're sponsoring every league in the country. Yeah. That's fine.
Okay.
Oh, you're with okay.
But my OGs that I do like, I actually had to beg Ricky for. It was at our state event last year. They're my green and purple contrabands.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Were
you throwing the cutthroats?
Wow.
Do what now?
Those are the cutthroats?
I'm not going to lie. I just know they're purple and they have a smiley face on them.
Okay.
That's fair enough.
Or like a droopy face. I don't know.
Did it have print on both sides?
It did. Well, just the smileys is sticky and then the words purple that are purple and green. That's the slick side.
Out of respect to Trey Hunt, I'm not going to make fun of that. I'm just going to let it go. So me too. That's what, out of respect, I'm not going to make fun of it.
All right.
because I know he was contraband at that time. So I'm not going to, out of respect. He was. He was.
But I am still a fan of literally even some of the BGs and all cornhole ones. Around here, the Game Changers is huge in our area.
Okay.
Like when we started, we used to call them sacks because they would have these Game Changers for so long. And I guess because they didn't know or didn't think that they could buy them.
Yep.
And, or that they were, I guess, being made, but they would just, it's so hard to explain, like throwing a rag in the air, kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a dirty dish towel.
Yeah, it's like you're disgusted. You know what I mean? It's like, you
just flick it out there.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just,
Do you have a lot of like geriatric men in your league then? Because that's usually all we see throw it out our way.
Yes, I mean.
Okay, all right. Okay, answer this. This is not taking a shot at anyone specifically. In your leagues, I want you guys to both picture somebody in your head that is throwing a game changer. Are they either very overweight or are they old?
I wouldn't call them either.
Okay, fair enough.
They're sticking with the political answers here. We have a hard stance on this one. So we've seen it with our own eyes.
Murdered. Been assassinated by guys. All right, so I'm not going to say his name because, actually, no. You're not allowed to say Jeremiah Ellis.
Yeah, okay? I like that.
Because he asked the question, who's your favorite pro? Everyone has their favorite. It's okay. Like, this is not like you're not giving them a favor or anything, but like everyone has their favorite. Like, you light up when you get to see them.
Like old. I could say they're old season. I do have a favorite. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. It's still a really tough question, actually. Athena, you got a favorite?
She's like, you answer first. That was a very sly way of saying like, I don't want to answer first.
That is a tough question because again, there's a lot of them.
They're all your favorites. We get it. Listen, this is not an ACL podcast. You're not going to get in trouble. I sat down with Stacy for 2 hours. I swear to God. Like, I'm just asking you, who's your favorite? Like, who do you like really enjoy? I'll give you a top 3. Just give me your 3 favorites. Like, who do you like really enjoy? Like their company, the conversation, and obviously we know you love them all.
So I am going to tell you a story that I actually told one of them.
Please.
The reason why, it was before I became a director.
Okay.
Before even a local director at the time. So this was a few years ago during COVID. Everyone started playing cornhole. My husband was kind of really getting into cornhole around that time. And he's like, I'm going to watch cornhole on TV. And I was like, what are you going to do? He's like, there's cornhole on TV. I was like, sure. No, let's do it. There's no football on. There's nothing else on. We'll watch cornhole. This is going to be exciting. I sat down and let me tell you, and if he ever listens to this, I hope he does because I tell this story all the time and he doesn't believe me, but Cody Henderson is the reason why I started watching cornhole. Okay. I actively watched and paid attention to when cornhole would be on.
Which match was it? Was it the one when he was like all awkward at the stands, like turned around and like, everyone knows that moment, right? Like, or was it like earlier than that? Like,
it was probably earlier than that. I mean, okay. I remember because Josh was doing the bags, it was like around that time where you had to, grab them.
They have the bag grabber. And
do you remember the awkward like COVID years where they had like bag grabbers and like it was like Mr. Stranger or
Mike Morton back there just with a golden claw picking bags out. I mean, it's Jesus. It warms my heart.
What a weird time.
It warms my heart that like a fiery Napoleon Dynamite brought you into the game.
We made it through that, man.
It was, and just it was one of those things where I think you guys have kind of covered it, and lots of people have. Is there's that personality type where you just watch them, and you're just like when they come on, something, you're going to see something or witness something. So he was the first one. Cody, if you are listening, I promise you, I tell this story time and time again. He's the reason why I started watching cornhole. It was literally just to watch him. After that, I would definitely say, going into my Arizona players, you've got, Gina Ramirez. I am obsessed with watching her play. She's incredible, not even just as a player, but just, when she's about to turn it on. She'll she'll get this little smile, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, you're in trouble. She's about to do something. She's phenomenal. My Sasweta brothers are amazing. Ty Lopez, Doug Zapp, back when Bill Hadley was playing. I loved watching him
Bag
because
and
he
bill.
was just like,
I was sad to hear about Zaft, who's not coming back next year. I was really sad about that. He's I think if you're brand new to the game, I don't think that you know how good this guy is, because like 2 years ago with him and Hadley, when they kind of like burst onto the scene, like I don't think the West was always kind of like, you guys never got enough love out this way. And admittedly, like, and then you guys got loud enough that we started like, okay, like we need to take them seriously. I guess there's enough people out there playing that and listening to the show. They're like, we need to start
Yeah,
figuring
then you
it
had
out.
this beautiful collegiate swimmer and Doug Zaft come up.
Well, I
and,
remember,
you know,
I remember I talked to,
fell in love.
I talked to Nick Feinstein, and then there was two other people in the area that at the time that I trusted. I'm like, who are your guys' assassins out there? And all three of them had one common name, and it was Zaft. And I'm like, who the fuck is? And then I meet him. I'm like, oh, you're a collegiate swimmer. Well, first of all, it's cheating because you're like 6'8" and you can reach like halfway to the board. Of course, like, I mean, of course it's gonna be great. But and he's like super nice guy and like normal and just, you know, and like that's why I love doing this podcast, because I get to meet guys like Doug Zaft. Like I would never have ever, you know, probably talked to this guy in my life. But then, like, you know what I mean? Just getting to sit down with him and talk to him and finding out just how many interesting stories there are like inside the ACL. Because I think sometimes looking at it, the same names keep coming up kind of on broadcast, and they're all like early 20s, you know what I mean? Like they're like in the prime of their life. They're all like good looking and like happy and like they have no responsibilities. It's great. Like awesome.
I mean, you didn't say a single thing about Jeremiah Ellis on that whole list. Just wanted to point that out real quick, but go on.
I just feel like there's so many people that are relatable in the ACL that's why, like, to me, that's one of the things that keeps me doing like this is like, I get to talk to guys like you. You know what I mean? Like again, you guys are the scary ladies behind the booth that like no one wants to talk to. You know what I mean? Like you guys are like the tablet fixers, and like I'm afraid to go up because if I went up there, like I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble and like alarms are gonna be going off or something. But like you guys are approachable, and I feel like it's a big deal for like people to kind of understand that.
Yeah.
Did you think you'd come on this podcast and be called Scary Ladies? I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, definitely have to be approachable.
In quotes. Those are quotes.
Approachable and patient.
Sean, people can't see quotes when you're
all right.
listening
So
to it.
she gave us a slew of questions, but I like this one. Laura Allhouse wants to know, when you go to another person's event, and I'm actually interested, do you like critique the setup, the format, the timing? Like, is it hard to like not do that, or do you find yourself like, oh no, I'm just good and I don't have to be in charge of anything and I can just have fun?
I sit back and relax. Like I just show up and like, people, when they start trying to explain, I said, look, you don't got to explain anything to me. I'm here to have fun, throw a bag, hang out, mingle. I'm not going to, step on anyone's toes. Now, if they come, they need advice in a moment, or, hey, Ashley, what do you think if I put this here with X, Y? I mean, I will help them, but I'm not going into that event judging what's going on or anything like that. I'm literally there for a good time, have fun. And, that's about it. That's why.
There's no moment though where you're like on the drive home after having 6-7 beers at a tournament where you just have a reflection on the tournament where you're like, this is what I would have done different.
Not at all,
man. I walk into any event and that's all I think. That's the whole time I'm there. I'm just like, this is what I would do different.
And that's the thing. A lot of people, if you don't run tournaments, you have no idea what all goes into it, what it takes to keep everything flowing and keep it running. So that's why, a lot of them that don't run tournaments, you hear more backlash or anything or negative from them but us or me, and I'm sure, Athena's the same way. I'm going there to have fun, no judgments, ever. I'm not leaving saying, oh, well, they should have done X, Y, Z.
That's nice.
It's not that for me. So, but I'm there in the moment, if they have questions, they're more than welcome to even come ask me.
I feel like that's more like internal anxiety. Like if you're putting on the event, you're like, everyone thought it was so terrible. Like, did you see her? She was looking at me like that one time. She's like, I knew it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's not. It's like, it's just all in our head. I mean, it's just all anxiety that we've built in.
It's all in their head. It's all in their head for sure. Because we're just doing it to have people come together in the day, or if we're there at your tournament, it's literally to support you or what's going on. That's about it.
I know. Yeah. So this one of the questions, Dawn Noise wants to know, are you able to provide any insight into what the weekend schedule are going to look like for Open and Signature Series events for the season? Like, is it going to start? Like, is it like a Friday, Saturday, Sundays? If there's, I mean, I don't know if it varies.
They will be Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay. So is it always Friday? It's going to be like the blind draw stuff like that, or are we not allowed to say yet?
It's going to be fairly similar similar to what we've done
Okay.
in the past. But once everything is open one is going to look a little bit different
Okay.
just because of the draft and a couple of other,
Oh,
aspects
yeah, that's
that
right.
we have
Okay.
there. So it is going to be a little bit different for that one.
Okay.
Everything else will follow identical format throughout the entire season.
Okay.
So I wouldn't go off of what open one looks like,
That's
but
fair.
once we load up all of the event details, it's going to be very much identical.
Okay. Is open one, is that one of the round limited format ones? Damn.
I know.
We
still haven't been to a draft either. Like that's an event that I do want to.
time, man. For
Yeah, it really is.
like after like going to Spencer's and doing all that stuff, like I know in order to stay married that like I shouldn't travel until like January again. You know
Yes.
what I mean? And then by the time like that comes, like we're like you can leave and like it's okay. And then I can bust out like a bunch of trips. So it's
Freedom.
I know it's just tough. I have the PTO too, so like I could definitely.
I don't,
but
not this year. For the record, Brandon Thompson, I don't suck. I saw your sign that you guys posted up finally. Yeah, it hurts. You guys could have been way more clever than that. We have a podcast. That's the best thing you could come up with is just Dane sucks.
I had been consuming beverages for like
Sean,
12 hours.
No
at that
excuses.
point.
You act like we're
That
not
was about as
professional
creative-
drinkers and doing
I was,
this.
and I
I'm
was so
ashamed.
tired. People
You can
were
tell who the creative is.
I was
all
watching the
It all went out
broadcast,
the window as soon as I
watching the
left.
broadcast. I'm getting text messages and messages on Facebook being like, "Why do you look so bored?" I'm like, I have been up. I've slept like 4 hours in the last 4 days. That's why. Okay, like I'm exhausted. It is the last day. Like I am ready to go home, and I have a long day of travel tomorrow. I'm about as happy as I'm going to look. And then someone's like, "Oh, here's a piece of cardboard." I'm like, "Oh, that's right. Dane sucks on it." And then hold it up, and it
Again,
wasn't dark
no
enough.
originality. Just saying. Disappointed.
All right, so final question. I'm interested because given both of your guys' backgrounds outside of your current director roles, who do you think, I want to know like your top 3. Who do you think are like most marketable players in the ACL? Because I think this is one aspect in the ACL in order for the game to grow is we need to market key individuals that not only are good, but like kind of stand for like what we want the community to be, and they're well spoken and they can answer interview questions. So given like your social media background, given your photography background, like you guys have to have like an eye for that kind of stuff. Who do you think either is the most marketable, or who do you think is like maybe doing it correctly right now? Like I'm just interested to get your guys' takes.
Are we choosing 1 or 2?
Let's give it 3. Give me your top 3.
3. Well, my first one, I think I would have to say is Espen Jackson. I have been watching him since he started coming to my regionals not this last season, but the season before last. He was doing competitive doubles.
Did he get his pro card this year?
He won high school singles. He's not going for the pro card this year.
Okay.
He didn't do
So is he doing the elite program then?
He's not. He's a little on the fence. I'll leave that more open to him. But I will tell you, whenever I did recruit him last season for the minor league team, he was straight going baseball pro. He wasn't really sure if he was going to do minor league, and he could only go to one. And I was like, well, look, we'll work for your schedule when we get our schedule, but I'm putting you on the roster. And because I've seen so much in him, I saw how much from competitive that 1 year, because it was when I was still playing too, or I could still play.
Yeah.
I threw against him, and then he threw like a 4-bagger. It was him and Wesley Day, competitive doubles regional, and I was throwing against Espen. He threw that 4-bagger, and I just stopped and just looked like, "Hey, you've been practicing?" Because he was a completely different thrower. Yeah. And so ever since then, I've always been watching him, and he's very, very well spoken. He has so many great values. Like he went to Worlds, he came for a couple of days, left because he didn't want to miss too much school, and then came all the way back to finish Worlds. Like, and his dedication, he would show up early to practice. It's another thing about the way he carries himself. It's almost like a calmness in a sense. It's something I've seen a lot of good players like Joel Gonzalez that won competitive singles last year. He was the same way. He was from Covington, and I would always watch him. And when he won, competitive singles, I think last year at Worlds, I almost started crying, just like with Espen. It's something about the way they both carried themselves, though. It was like a calmness. Then they didn't get mad. They didn't get upset. It was like they just took that walk to the next board just as a reset.
Yeah.
Reset, grab the bags, and then kind of keep going. It's really hard to explain, but if you see it, you see it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know he wins a lot about you guys, and it was nice to see him kind of validate all that, like at Worlds. You know what I mean?
He changed his mind. Yeah, he changed his mind now. He's not going pro baseball anymore.
Okay.
Because when he didn't come to my last regional and he went to the Ohio Open, I'm like, I was like, have you changed your mind about cornhole baseball? He's like, yeah. I said, I knew it. I said, the moment you said you were going to make it for the minor league jersey ceremony, I said, go get him. Like, have fun, have a good time. Because I like that for him. I was excited. And to see him do so many successful things, even at Worlds, was pretty amazing and remarkable. Like, I'm getting the chill bumps just thinking about it. So they're both great. And then Athena.
A couple, the most marketable. If I'm going off of, some people who are up and coming, the janitor, Matt Wilson.
Yeah.
Tons of videos. And it's not just.
It's clever. It's funny.
Your standard. He is. He's clever, but he does take it to a different, he's super relatable. So as someone who, like for me personally, I don't consistently play. I don't play, every now and again if I need to, but he's someone where if I'm scrolling on TikTok, he pops up all of a sudden, he does like a funny video and then it's educational. And then you're getting a little bit of everything out of him.
Yeah, it's consistency. I mean, that's really one of the biggest keys when it comes down to this. Is just putting in the work. Even if it's not your A+ stuff every single time, it's better than not putting out anything.
Yes.
At least in the social media world. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
Yeah. At least the social media world, yes, correct.
Quantity pays dividends.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
It does.
Like he does a really good way, because what he's doing is also it's catching even non-cornhole players. So even if you don't play cornhole, you're like, well, hold on. He gets like your hook right at the beginning. And all of a sudden he's like, but let me tell you about this bag. And he tells you, this is the bag. This is, the series. This is the roll shot. This is how I did it. And then, he rolls in with, maybe some kind of funny video where it kind of, not really like knocks on, cornhole stuff, but he brings humor and he gives education.
Again, we're allowed to laugh at stuff. Like we're allowed to be like, we're grown adults throwing beanbags at a board. Like it's okay. We're allowed to like make fun of it ourselves. Like it's okay. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. 100%. And then of course, you've got, like Jeremiah Ellis. Obviously, he's, a huge face and has
he does have a huge face.
Yeah, I mean, it's
huge.
Giant.
But he's in the game. You know the name. You know everything. But also, it's not just cornhole. Take a selfie. He's at work. That's real life.
He's
him.
motivated too. Like, you know what I mean? Like he wants to, if he's going to do this cornhole thing, like, he wants to be able to do it. Like he wants to be able to take care of his family. And to me, a scary, like it being like in the same situation, having kids and stuff, like a guy like that's hungry and it's talking about like putting food on the table. I don't want to play that motherfucker. I'll go play the 20-year-old that doesn't care and has no bills.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 100%. Like, and that's part of that mentality that I think that, it's awesome. And that's why I think I completely agree. I think it's very marketable.
Yeah, definitely. Gosh, I watch so many of these players. I probably more than I should. I was on the 3-hour conversation with, Jamie and, Vanessa and Hunter was on there. So we're, just listening to them. And it was such a real, you get to know them in a different way. Cause yes, there's cornhole and there's all of that, but also they're having these off conversations, Jamie Graham, if you went up to him, asked him a question, he's going to answer it. He wants to find ways to, he will help you. He'll give you his own advice and it's going to be actual advice. If you don't want to hear it, you might not want to ask it, but
that is such a great, yes, that is 100% spot on. Yes.
And if you're hungry, he's going to have a quesadilla.
Yeah. Yes. Correct.
And
you're probably plain chicken fingers. He strikes me as a plain chicken fingers.
Yeah.
I feel like
he's fantastic
at
that kind of stuff. And, he'll do videos, here and there with like some lives and things like that. But it's a different type of, educational, resource. You have Gina Ramirez, who is all over the place. She's got, she is everywhere. And she also likes to, educate players. She likes to help players. She loves helping the youth. So that's a different front facing of what, she likes to do. I think every player has the opportunity to be marketable if they have the resources, the tools, and the education to do it, which, I know that there's, a lot of moving parts to that's being worked through. But I think, a lot of these players should look at what, others are doing and work with each other to try to find some stuff. Adrian
Johnson.
Adrian Johnson. Phenomenal. His motivation, you scroll through Facebook and all of a sudden, boom, motivation, not just cornhole related, but it's so relatable because you can relate it to cornhole and your everyday life. It's both.
Yeah.
So there's just so much. I could probably tell you 50 pros.
Well, again, I think there's so many people, especially pros, that are doing good things. They're just not very good at like highlighting themselves. Like one of my favorite things in the world is going on an interview, because they're basically going to let me brag about myself for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I get to make myself sound really good. Like that's all I've always looked at, like kind of like social media, and like it's like your way of like creatively expressing yourself and putting it out there. Like, listen, not everyone's going to like you. So not everyone's going to like everything you post out there. But like, if you like it, then put it out there. Who cares? Someone else, you're going to be surprised at how many other people, when we first got into this community, we had no idea like if our sense of humor was going to go over well.
I knew I was fine.
And I
was worried about him.
It was very rocky. It was very rocky in the beginning. But I feel like, just again, consistency just kills. You know what I mean? Like all right, we might as well give him a fucking like.
Yep, hey, just what's like, another year?
Yeah, exactly.
Stack it out.
So, and what I meant by the quesadilla with Jamie Graham is it was at Spencer's, and I would think it was whenever I was like, am I going to go get to check out these vendors before they pack up? Well, I was like speed walking, and he's eating a quesadilla, and I hadn't been able like to say, hey, or, conversate with him like I usually do. And he's like, you want some? You hungry? He's like, I'm just going to throw it away. I was like, no, I'm good. Like we had just actually ate. And I was like, are you sure? And he was eating it. So that's what I meant by the quesadilla. I mean, before you had changed the subject, I would say like Maddie does a pretty good job.
Man, you got to.
I just wanted to mention real quick, quesadilla is Spanish for hot dog. So for those of you wondering, yes, he's still the glizzy god, Jamie Graham.
And we love Jamie Graham.
Oh,
we love Jamie Graham.
We posted one video that he hated, and we just love picking on him about it now.
And I just had to remind him, so I reached out to him. I'm like, listen, I just want to let, 2 weeks ago, I'm like, I know stuff's going on. I would like you come on our show and announce. And he's like, got you. And then I hear through the grapevine, he's going on the ACL. So I just sent him an instant message, be like, hey, good luck tomorrow. And he's like, oh, dude, was I supposed to go on your show? And I'm like, it's all right. I still got the video. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll post
it
again.
We're good. Don't worry about it.
Man. We're good.
Like, I don't,
and everything.
We're good. So Jamie, I love you. So just remember that stuff. Bud. All right. So, all right. But hey, listen, this has been awesome. Thank you very much for both of you guys for joining us. I think this has been informative, entertaining. You guys have been awesome. It's a lot of times when we get guests on, I feel like everyone like tenses up.
For sure. Yeah.
But like also just like directors, we're not that scary, right? Like we just want to have conversations.
I'm not that scary.
I think I think a lot of this stuff was important to get out there, clarify. There's a lot of questions. You go on the Facebook forums. I think sometimes we get misunderstood for a new person because there's a lot of negativity out there. We're slowly trying to combat that, but I do applaud you guys. If you guys try to make positive changes, I think the ACL is going the right direction. And I think we're all kind of in a unified front, or regardless of the direction, we just want the game to keep growing. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I've enjoyed it.
Oh yeah. All right. So we'll let the folks go at home. We'll have you guys hang on for just a minute, but, do you have anything? We're good.
I think we're good. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a long interview. So if you're still listening to this, like, kudos to you.
Congratulations.
Go check us out on Patreon, patreon.com. Yes. Listen, this is going to be close to our longest episode ever.
What? The Twinkies.
It'll be close-ish.
It's going to be close. I think, ironically, it's funny that you brought Cody Henderson up because he actually is the longest interview. It's only an interview. We don't even do our part. It was 2 hours and 44 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was phenomenal. Like, he's such a good we're going to get him on the show soon. I need to get him on.
I hope so.
Yeah, me too.
We'll reach out.
There's
all
a
right.
lot of good ones out there.
I'm going to stop rambling, or I'm going to keep talking. And
I was like, you're going to get me talking again.
I know. I'm so bad at this. Okay. All right. For reals, folks. All right. As always, we hope you throw it straight. That's nothing but 4 baggers from here on out.
Go Browns.
Later. I don't even want to say later after that.
I had to throw one in there.